Hello, Lamer Gamers. This is Simply Travis and
Rowdy 5000
for the Lamer Gamers podcast. And recently we've had another round of apocalyptic adventures since our last episodes. Well,
it's been fun.
Rowdy had some adventures. So recently, Rowdy has been battling the King of Slimes from the TPC plant when he unfortunately had to hit the flee button because the King of Slimes, well, what did the King of Slimes do, Rowdy?
Man, he leveled up too much. He got too much XP. He started casting, Toxic Cloud, Magic Missile, all kind of stuff in my direction.
So what, if you didn't listen to the last episode, Rowdy did a Rowdy's Ruckus Rants last episode, and some actual stuff happened. So tell us what's been going on.
So the chemical plant near my house exploded. Well, one of their tanks exploded.
Boom.
And my apartment shook. And then about 12 hours later, there was another one that blew up, and it launched a giant cooling tower. I don't know. It was a missile. It launched it into the air. It landed not far from where that is, but it's super scary because there's a bunch of chemical plants around there, so it could have hit a flaming projectile, could have hit another chemical plant, and they're saying it could have been, a 4-mile blast radius, and I was about 1.5 miles from it.
Yeah, so just kind of, Rowdy was hilarious during all this, by the way. So I texted you in the middle of the night because if you actually buy as the way the crow flies, I'm 9 miles from that plant.
Okay.
Now, if you drive, it's like 20 miles.
Yeah.
But I felt it shake my house, and I woke up thinking a tree fell on my house. And looked on Facebook because, everybody on these, crime watch pages around this area, what that big boom happened over there? And
yeah, they are pretty nosy.
So, texted Rowdy, and he's, like, hey, are you safe? And I don't think Rowdy was like, what the heck is he texting?
Yeah, I didn't even know what was going on because I always hear doors slamming in my apartment complex, and I thought I heard a door slam, and then a second or two later, I felt my apartment shake, and I was like, wow, that's impressive. Somebody slammed the door really hard this time. So I'm just thinking there's a fight going down outside or something like that. I mean, not that that's a normal everyday occurrence at my apartment complex.
Hopefully not.
Then Travis texts me. He's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm playing Dragon Quest. What's wrong?
Yeah, it was 2 in the morning?
Around between 1:30, somewhere in there. Because I'd gotten off at 11 that night.
Yeah, usually I don't try to text Rowdy this late at night, honestly.
So, yeah, Travis knew that there was an explosion before I did, and I was 1.5 miles away from it.
Yeah, I was further away. So, later on, I think the next day, Rowdy sends me a text.
It's literally almost 12 hours to the minute.
Hey, check out this bottle rocket. It's the video of the cooling plant just flying through the air.
Yeah.
You ended up having to leave because there was literally they evacuated everybody because they were worried about the big kaboom. The flying bottle rockets making big kabooms.
They were more worried about stuff flying away because everything was fine.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, the smoke was blowing away from where I live, so I was good. Plus, This isn't my first plant explosion.
Yeah. Every other day out there is just kaboom.
And for my job, I actually have to be trained to know which way the wind's blowing, where I could go, things like that, things to look out for. So, I mean, I knew what to do, and so I just went to bed. And then the next day, that's when it got crazy. When the second one happened, they were worried about it flying. They were worried about debris flying into neighboring plants because there are neighboring plants that have even more volatile chemicals, and this is what I breathe in every day.
Nice. So, Fun fact, we got some new analytics for our podcast, and over half of our American listeners are from California. So you can hear all the glory of Southeast Texas.
That's awesome.
It's awesome out here, man. All right. Okay, now that we're done with that, today we're going to talk about way too much news. We'll first talk about all the games we've been playing recently, because it's been a while. Then dive into the ridiculous amount of news that we have been feasting on this holiday season, such as what happened at the Game Awards, the Xbox Series X news bonanza we're going to go over.
I'm actually more excited about that than I should be.
Yeah.
I'm a Sony fan, but it's awesome.
It's kind of cool, dude. Sony State of Play recently had another one.
I'm not as excited about that.
No one's ever excited about Sony State of Play. Nintendo Indie World Showcase, and more. Then we'll hop over to our rumors section, Fake News, to discuss rumors ranging from Metroid games, plural games, Pokemon news that's, well, it's actually fake news. Yeah. And some interesting rumors walking up to the plate for Sony. Now that we have the show loaded up in our podcasting cannons, let's go!
I see what you did there.
Now, before we get into the games we have currently loaded up in our console cannons, if you like the stuff we do here on the show, make sure to check out @LamerGamersCast on Twitter, @LamerGamersPodcast on Instagram. We're actually trying to do stuff there now. I'm trying to learn the Instagrams.
Dude, it's hard to do it like on a computer. Like it's mainly like phone based.
For all you youngins with your newfangled cell
Because
phones.
it's mainly for like putting pictures of your food that you've just taken at dinner.
And your face.
Like, yeah.
We don't really show our faces. I show drawings of faces.
Yeah.
It takes 10 seconds to snap a picture of your face. It takes me like a couple hours to draw our faces sometimes.
That's true.
Yeah, it's not easy on the Instagrams. I'm putting things there for y'all, though. All right, then throw a review down on Apple Podcast or Podchaser.
Or wherever you could throw down a review.
Yeah, we like them. I like sharing them.
You could write your review down on a napkin and post it on our Instagram if you want.
Hey, you'd probably get likes for that, too. It seems like a thing to do. All right, Rowdy, what have you been playing lately?
All right, I'm going to start it off by saying I finally beat Death Stranding.
Ooh, how long did that take you?
Oh, crap. I wish you hadn't asked me that now. I want to say it was like 62, 63 hours, somewhere in there.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of package delivering.
Well, I mean, I've seen people going as far as 110 hours. Wow. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to do in the game.
I mean, I remember the holiday season working for USPS back in the day, and I remember some shifts that were almost that long.
Well, what's crazy is I actually think the game went quicker for me because I know I tried to explain it before the game came out, but the more people that play the game and the more people that you connect with, the more you see in the game. So, since I'm connected with everybody else in the world, I can, like if I drop off equipment to help build a highway, then other people won't have to put as much equipment in there, and vice versa. I won't have to put as much. So there was one time that I was trying to build a section of highway that would make me go way faster, and I left to go get a bunch of supplies, and when I came back, it was built.
Ooh.
So then all I had to do was just go to the next area, which had already been built.
Nice.
So I think it took less time because once you connect each section to the chiral network, which is basically this awesome form of the internet.
Didn't they have something similar to that in Astral Chain? No, chimeras. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Chiral, it has something to do with like a Greek word for hand.
Okay.
There's a whole lot of weird subtext.
Like the arteries in a hand?
No, like actual hand. Like your hand. Not like anything in it. It's Greek stuff.
It's that weird stuff that dude would be all into.
There were a whole lot of emails I got in the game that I just didn't read. Like there's all these interviews and stuff that you can read, and there was just
I'm a sucker for all that reading.
Oh my god! Then you would take 110 hours to play this game.
Is it though well written?
It's amazingly written.
Okay.
Like that's the thing about it. Because at first I was like, this is kind of dragging on. He's explained a little too much right here. But then as I progressed in the game, I was like, oh, that's why they said all that. And then the crazy part, I'm not going to ruin this or anything, but at the end of the game, completely changed everything with one word. I know that sounds crazy, and you're probably not going to play it. Well, you don't have a PS4.
It is coming to the PC.
Oh, it is coming to PC. Okay, then I won't tell you.
About playing it.
I won't tell you then.
Yeah.
But it is fun. It's a game that you really could barrel through it real quick if you just do everything right off the bat, if you don't take any of the side missions. I found Conan O'Brien.
What? Huh?
Conan O'Brien's in the game.
Hmm?
He lives with somebody who's a cosplayer, and he's a traveling MC, and before the Death Stranding, he actually had stand-up shows that he would do.
Fancy.
Yeah. He gave me my Otterhood.
Is he actually Conan O'Brien in the game?
Yes. So a lot of people because Edgar Wright is in the game. He directed like Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz and stuff like that. Jeff Keighley, the guy that hosts the Game Awards, was in it. One of the higher ups at Sony is in it. You actually have to deliver him old PlayStations and PSPs. It's pretty funny. But yeah, most of the people that are in the game aren't voiced by that person. Like Guillermo del Toro, like he's a huge part of the game, but it's not him talking.
That's dumb.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like
I guess I could imagine if you're just really not that good of an actor. Yeah. But I've seen him in movies.
Well, that's the thing. Well, no, I take it back. He didn't do anything. They just took his likeness and then put it on a mocap artist.
Yeah.
But no, it was a really fun game. I'm not going to go out there and say it's genre defining and that it's something everybody should play because there's a lot of people that were even Hideo Kojima fans that didn't like the game.
Yeah.
But I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's something that everybody should at least look into. I don't know about actually playing it. It was really fun.
Okay. Well, one thing that I've been playing recently that I sent Rowdy a picture of, Ring Fit Adventure.
Oh, no.
It's actually really fun. Like, it's really well done, and it hurt me. Like, I was so sore because there are so many squats you have to do in this game.
Ugh.
And Rowdy and I are going to do a video for you folks. And it'll be out sometime in January.
Hopefully.
Fat Adventure. And it's going to be our chronicles of, playing Ring Fit Adventure. And I think I'm going to show Rowdy how to play it for his first time.
But the video, it's going to be my first time to actually play it.
It'll be good. It'll be funny. But, so, I'm very impressed with the hardware in this thing. And by hardware, I mean this ring. Like, it feels, whenever I think of a video game controller or anything related to it, I don't expect to be able to use literally all of my force to squeeze it together and not have it break. It's tough. It's obviously got some metal on the inside of it because it springs back to its correct placement, I guess, pretty easily. And so when you're running through the game, you are constantly squeezing this ring, and it eventually works out your arm muscles really well in your chest. You have to run in place to move throughout the level, and then occasionally you'll run into bad guys. And it loads up different exercises you have to do. Now, I have the extra added bonus, or I guess complexity, of trying to do things like sit-ups on the floor with 3 gigantic dogs. So that makes it 10 times more fun.
It's just extra weight on your chest.
Yeah. I mean, you get 100-something pound German Shepherd sit on you while you're trying to do sit-ups, It's great. No, it's really well done. It was better looking than I expected. The graphics are really clean. The gameplay is surprisingly fun. I got to the point, though, where I got to my first boss fight. The boss fights are tough. Like, literally physically tough. Because you're doing way more workout than you would for all the other little mini guys that you fight in between. It was not hard. It was not easy. I was in pain. So what else have you been playing, man?
Man, Dragon Quest. Oh, I'm sorry, Dragon Quest 11.
Yeah,
there's a lot of Dragon Quests.
X1, XI.
So I've put 75 hours into this game. Maybe a little more than 75. But I mean, it's taken me a few months to do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, over the past month,
you have a job.
Do what?
You have a job.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to put in 70 hours in a game.
But over the past month, I probably put in 25. Like, I've been barreling through it. So I actually rolled credits at just under 71 hours, like 70 hours, 50 some odd minutes. So I decided to do the in-game stuff. And I've never been more mad at a game in my life. I mean,
sounds like a JRPG.
A lot of JRPGs, like their in-game stuff, like I understand you have to be super high level and really good at the game and everything. But with a lot of the in-game stuff, I mean, I was maybe like early level 50-ish, and I'm still barreling through everything. And the story's just getting more intricate. Everything's turned on its head.
So this is after credits?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
And, like...
Is it DLC?
No. Well, I mean, it might be for the original version of Dragon Quest
Okay,
X
okay.
or X, Dragon Quest 11. Damn it.
Yeah, right. One of those
The
things.
one for Switch, seeing as it's like the Dragon Quest 11 S
S
Definitive
special
Edition.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's DLC, but yeah, afterwards, like it just the story gets like turned on its head, like it gets crazy, and I'm like, oh man, this is really awesome. And then I get to a trial in the game, and I can't beat it. My wife heard me huffing and puffing last night like I was a child, or
Did you throw a controller?
or an angry Pomeranian. No,
I've had Pomeranians. Those things, they just go burr, burr, just 24/7.
that was me.
That was the neighbors are like, I don't know
But
if
no.
the plant's exploding or if my neighbor's barking again.
I decided to just put it down and play other games. I mean,
Yeah, that's what you
I've
gotta do,
put
man.
75 hours into it. I'll look up the ending on YouTube.
So you said you're like 20 levels down from actually.
Oh,
being able to
yeah,
beat
yeah,
it? Yeah. Earlier, whenever you were talking about it.
So I looked into like how high of a level I need to be to like
Mhm.
even attempt this part. Like I think my highest level character is 53, and I have to be I think level 70.
Wow.
Yeah, because there's a trial that you have to beat the enemy within 25 actions, and each round, each character uses an action. So it's
Gotcha.
4 actions per turn, and I actually did beat them in 43 actions.
That's not enough, right? That's
So-
too much.
Yeah, it's too much. So
Too much.
It did not let me
You shall
progress.
not pass. So, speaking of using actions or action points, I've been playing Banner Saga 1.
Uno.
Banner Saga is really cool. It's Vikings. It's okay. It's not Vikings. It's Norse mythology sort of base. You have humans and then you have varls. So if you've never seen the game, and I always assumed like the horns on these characters were like hats. No, that's straight up out of their heads. They're called varls. It's a whole different race, and they're humongous. So essentially,
How
you-
many Great Danes? Like, if they're humongous, how many Great Danes would it take?
You're probably stacking at least 3 Great Danes.
I just
3 or 4.
I stole that joke from another podcast. I'm sorry.
Oh, bad brownie. Copyright strike. No. I don't know which podcast you're talking about. Okay, so Banner Saga is it's kind of like a isometric view, turn-based fighter. It's very, it's very much CRPG like. It's a lot like Fire Emblem
Okay.
in the way that it battles, except you don't really have a squad; it's individuals, and you use action points. You have specials that you can use. You're not really leveling up weapons or anything like that. But it also has a little hint of Oregon Trail, but with Norse mythology involved.
Norskin Trail?
Norsegan Trail. Furden Trail. Yes. So you're basically trying to, at this point that I'm at, I'm escaping from the Scourge.
Okay.
Don't know where these guys, like, what's wrong with them or where they come from.
They got
I
the
don't-
Scourge.
They got the Scourge. They're these big, like, almost technological, evil, big monster guys in metal armor. They hurt you. It's bad. So right now, I'm like, you go through different people that actually run the story. I think they're all going to meet up, essentially, in the storyline at the end. But it's really fun. It's only about 8 hours to beat, is what I was reading.
Okay.
It's on Game Pass, is where I'm playing it. I was going to play it on PC, but I like the art style so much that I really enjoyed on the big screen. So I've been playing it on my Xbox One X.
Is 2 and 3 on
Yes.
Game Pass as well? Okay. Because I knew it was a trilogy.
That's my plan, is to play through the trilogy, because the storyline is really well written. The characters are fun, and they're very tough and manly. It's very it's very Norse, like what you would expect from like Vikings or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So what else have you been playing? I see something on the list that you've been playing that's on the on that Game Pass.
Yeah, I got to I have to get my money's worth out of Game Pass.
Yeah, man.
Which I haven't been doing the past month because I've been playing PlayStation and
Nintendo.
Switch.
That's one of the weird things about Game Pass too, is like I'm paying this subscription fee and I feel like I have to play games on it before
yeah.
they go away. Granted, they stay there for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got into Halo Reach.
So I really don't. I am so. I guess, lost with all the Halos. Is Halo Reach new?
It's a prequel. No,
Okay.
it's not new.
Was it released on another system or?
No, it was on Xbox 360. I don't know.
Okay.
The last one I played was.
Is it redone? Like, is it?
It looks great. I don't know if it's
Okay.
redone. Because the last one that I played on an Xbox was actually Halo 2, and that was on the original Xbox.
I mean, I just saw something on the Reddit, on the Xbox One Reddit, and they're like, it was such a smart idea to release Halo Reach. And I was like, okay.
Well, I mean, it
Didn't
looks
say
really
why.
good. It's fun to play. It's a prequel, so you could actually start it without playing any other Halo
Okay.
game.
So that's where I need to start if I've never played a Halo game.
When you open
a
up
single player.
When you open up Master Chief Collection, if you click campaigns, it has them in the order you should play them.
Oh. Okay, I'll have to download it and try it out because, I've been a dirty Nintendo fanboy all my life.
Yeah, the last
Never played Halo. I played like Halo at friends' houses.
before the Xbox One X, I think the last non-Nintendo system you owned was the TurboGrafx.
TurboGrafx 16 was awesome. You better not say anything negative about it. Those cards came in like they looked like credit cards. They were so cool. Bonk. You remember Bonk?
Oh yeah,
Bonk was awesome. You know what he did?
he bonked stuff.
He bonked stuff. Precisely. With his head, because he's a caveman, he's awesome. Play Bonk's Adventure if you've never played it. It's the greatest thing ever.
That's ridiculous.
It is. The art style is so stupid. His head is like, the proportions are like half of his body is his head. And this, by the end of the game, man, you like go into weird monster stomachs and it's real psychedelic. It's a freaking crazy game. There's also things like Pac-Man, like some sort of Pac-Man platformer on there.
Retro games are weird, man.
Retro games are weird, dude.
So I was just looking down the list, and this next game that you were playing, I was super excited for, but not so much after playing it.
I actually enjoyed it.
It's fun.
It involves bananas. Bananas that tell you to do things that you probably are questionable things for your friend Pedro. I played my friend Pedro. I enjoyed it. I liked the mechanics of it. I liked how it played. I don't think my wife cared for it at all. In fact, she told me very much so that she did not like it.
It's fun. It's just super repetitive. I
can see that.
I like to call the game Deadpool Simulator.
Yeah. That's pretty well. That's pretty spot on. I think the problem is it was after work and I was brain dead on a Friday, and I was just like, funny banana. I shoot things. Boom, boom. And that was all I could really functionally do.
It doesn't take too much skill, man.
No, it doesn't.
Just how easy it is to lock on with that second weapon. It takes a lot of the thought out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty fun because you really only have to aim one weapon.
Gotcha. So the next game on your list is what I've been playing is my downtime game lately.
Minecraft, man.
Minecraft. Now the thing is though, have you found any bees?
No.
Good, because they're the devil. I hate bees.
Yeah, like I read something about this like a week, 2 weeks ago, something about adding bees to it. I didn't think anything about it. Well, I started it up, and it was talking about bees in there and how don't attack bees because they'll attack you.
Yeah, bees do that in real life. I know this. So, okay, here's my story about bees. So, we were tearing down a water pump shed because that's very southern. And it was just infested with carpenter bees. Now, if you've seen my video on Fallout 76 about bees, then you know this story. I'm going to go quick through it because I'm sure we're taking up too much time in this section. But
We're like almost 30 minutes in.
oh man, we're doing fine. So, I remember my dad was telling me, "Oh, those are carpenter bees. Those won't hurt you." Lies, absolute falsehoods. I got stung at least 5 times. Now, the fun fact about carpenter bees. You know what happens when carpenter bees sting you?
They keep stinging you?
They keep stinging you. They don't die. Their stingers don't fall out because they're not barbed like a honeybee or all the other bees. They don't really like shoot a lot of poison in you, I guess. I don't even know if they have it. But they kept stinging me. And they were angry. And one got stuck underneath my glasses, was latched onto my eyelid, and just was stinging me underneath my eye.
Nice.
So since then, I don't like bees. All right, that's my story. Next up, I've been playing more Outer Worlds. I've been playing as the corporate bad guy.
Dude.
I don't like my choices, Rowdy, in life.
I think that the next time I play this game, I'm going to kill every single person. if they
Lord.
if they blink at me.
You're gonna play the hobo serial killer edition.
I'm gonna
D&D
see if it's possible to just beat the game by just clobbering every single person that I see.
You probably could, I think, because you get key cards.
Well,
to
what's
go
crazy
places.
is there's the video of somebody beating it in under 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's an awesome video, and it's funny because like I'm watching stuff in there, and big big points in the story that I thought were like static, like they wouldn't change no matter what. Like, are completely different things are happening at these points.
Man, in this current playthrough, I've gone to one of the, I guess, in-game places before I even got over to Monarch.
Huh.
Yeah, it was so weird this way that I'm playing, and they don't let you turn the guy in right at the beginning. I was trying to turn in Phineas right at the beginning. I'm just chomping at the bit, like, let me turn him in. They're like, no, you need to do this stuff for us. Now, I'm basically having to earn the trust of everybody in the corporate world. I do not like the decisions I'm having to make. I actually was sent on a mission to assassinate somebody that knew too much.
Uh-oh.
And there was this other guy that like was also on the same mission. He's like, hey, just go ahead and tell me about it if you happen to, Assassin's Honor or something like that. Because we're competing. I told him. Then I killed him. So
Assassin's Honor.
Assassin's Honor. What did you expect? I'm trying to play the game like a bad guy, honestly. And I'm making some choices that I would never make in a game. It's really tough for me because I like playing a game where I'm a good guy.
Yeah.
And I did this with Deadfire, also another game by Obsidian, where I'm trying to be a bad guy or somebody that's like really wants power, and that's how I'm playing it. I've actually changed a couple things to where I'm intimidating people now, because my single one-handed melee is all the way up to 100. Nice. So I'm just going around like punching mana queens to death with hammers.
Nice.
In 2 or 3 shots. It's amazing. All right. Last game on your list, and then we're moving to news. What else have you been playing?
Pokemon Sword. I put down Dragon Quest just because I bought Pokemon Sword, and it's been burning a hole in my game case, just needing to play it. I need to know why everybody's so mad at this game. I need to see it. And it's not bad.
It doesn't look bad. I've had so many people say, oh, it's the worst thing ever.
Okay, look. A lot of people were saying, oh, this game looks awful. Dude, put this game side by side compared to Pokemon Sun and Moon and tell me that it looks bad. Pokemon Sun and Moon looks like a turd compared to this one.
Yes.
I mean, it looks great. People were griping about, oh, well, they reused Pokemon assets. Well, there's a lot of new Pokemon in it. They didn't reuse those.
Deal with it.
And I understand, like, I'm a little upset that not every Pokemon is in there because I really like the Gen 1 Pokemon, but I find myself constantly just trying to find Squirtle, Charmander, and Bulbasaur in every game, and then having them in my team. This is actually going to make me play with other Pokemon that I wouldn't normally do.
Ah, that is true.
I don't think that was the point. I think this game got rushed, and they were like, you have to put this game out.
They had to get it out by Christmas. They had Switch Lights to get off the table, and they've been selling like crazy. The Switch definitely won this holiday season. Fun fact. You know what won in Europe, though, this holiday season?
TurboGrafx 16?
No. More surprising, the Xbox. In Europe.
The Xbox One. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, they're still selling
Xbox? No. Sorry. The Xbox naming cycle is so stupid. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. All right. I think that's about it. Is it time for news and views?
It's time for news, man.
It's time. Now, before we get started with the news, I want to give a shout out to our friends over at ParallaxMedia.one. They're a good old school gaming journalism website that has decided to help spread our podcast around to the masses. So drop by and check these guys out. So First up in the news.
Hang on. I'm calling an audible.
Audible.
Audible. Fallout 76 is back in the news.
Wow, no.
Have you seen this?
Why do you have to call out an audible like that?
Because it's real quick and it's something that everybody would have seen coming.
Okay,
So there was
go for it.
There was an update that they put out, and in this update, whenever you reload your gun, your armor stats decrease every time you reload your gun. So in a game where you need armor and you can't pause the game to unequip the armor and equip it again to get your stats back to where they are, that's bad.
I want to yell.
So that's it, man. Just Fallout 76 back in the news again. Just thought I'd throw that in there and laugh.
For making stupid decisions. Okay, sorry. Had to get that out. That sounds like the dumbest thing ever. Speaking of stupid decisions,
so that was my audible.
Did you hear about the Stadia?
Yeah. So I actually looked into it when you put this on here because I swore I read something about it, and I found that it's the Founders Edition Chromecasts.
Yes.
That are overheating.
Right.
Not regular Chromecast Ultras.
Correct.
The Founders Edition Chromecast Ultras. So to get all of the awesome, I shouldn't use that word. So to get all of the, features of Google Stadia, you have to get this Founders Edition Chromecast Ultra, and it overheats. There's actually a funny video. I want to say it was maybe Spawnwave.
Yeah, I think Spawnwave
put it on his Twitter where he's got like heat sinks glued to the outside of it.
And that's actually been like the thing that people are doing, and it's such as being a former purveyor of Google betas, that's just something you would have to do. I remember way back in the days of the original Android phones, you had to do things like make swap cache, where it was basically like a file size that was used as like fake RAM back on the old phones to make them run anywhere close to an Apple phone.
I thought swap cache was going to be some kind of crazy black market money laundering site.
Yeah, it sounds like like some sort of advertisement you'd have at 3 a.m. Come down to Swap Cash. You can get yourself a loan. Don't have good credit? Come get some Swap Cash.
Call J.G. Wentworth. 877 cash now.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, this sounds like something you would expect from an early Google product where the engineers did not think about something very important, such as heat. I'm sorry, it's a 4K device that's taking in a massive amount of data, and then it's having to push out the graphics. I know it's not really like a GPU. Bless you, sir.
Sorry.
Rowdy's even had he's been affected by it. All right, so the way they designed the Stadia was it's going to create heat because, of course, there's a CPU and all that stuff in there, and whenever electricity goes through, it creates heat. How do they expect the heat to dissipate? Plastic. There's no way to get the heat out of this thing. They expected the heat to transfer to the shiny plastic on the back, and then that somehow would be transferred to the air. Now, if you think about the back of a TV where an HDMI cable is plugged in,
it's hot back there.
It's usually stale air with no movement. Someone did not think this through, and I'm not surprised. So the Stadias, the newer Stadia Special Edition Chromecast are overheating. Hold back from getting one if you're dead set on it or
just
go
don't
buy your
get one.
heatsink. No, just go buy a heatsink,
Just
get
don't
some
get
thermal
one.
paste, spend some extra money, or go buy a console that will actually run these games. Because I've been watching these Digital Foundry ones that's showing Stadia versus Xbox One X, and the One X is beating most of the games because
You mean xCloud?
No, not xCloud. xCloud really only runs in 720p right now. Yeah, they're not running it in 4K, and you can't run it on a TV yet.
Stadia's throwing people under the bus because,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, there was a game that came out and it wasn't running at 2140. It wasn't running at 4K.
Yeah. Well,
it was running at 1440.
So to get a little nerdy here, they're using an API that is open source called Vulkan. It's basically like the Linux graphics
Live
cards.
long and prosper.
Yes, live long and prosper. So none of the games are really running optimally because it's running all through this open source junk. I'm going to tick off somebody that is a Linux fan by saying that. It's not really junk. It's just, it's not going to be as optimized as the big boys. And Google's trying to be cheap as usual and putting out hardware that they didn't really think through.
What is it? Red Dead Redemption was running at 1440, if I'm not mistaken. And people called out Google, and they were like, "Oh, well, we make it possible for them to stream at 4K, and if it's not in 4K, then it's the developer's fault."
No, well, they haven't really coded it for the Vulkan API, is what it is. So it's
live long and prosper.
Yes, live long and prosper. So it's going to help out open source in a way, but if you look into the history of open source usage with Google, they use it until they just drain it of its life, and then they use it to make money.
What was that Google graveyard site? Was it Killed by Google?
Something like that. We brought it up the last full episode, and it was fun.
It's pretty funny. You should check it out.
Yeah, speaking of dead things.
Real quick, man, I kept getting, something keeps happening with my iPad. Like, we're using OneDrive. So I've got the OneDrive pulled up for our notes, and it keeps asking me to send feedback. So then I just noticed that, you know how you send how you tell an iPad you need to send feedback for OneDrive?
You shook it?
Yes.
Wow.
You shook your device. Your feedback and suggestions help us improve OneDrive. To disable the shake gesture, visit settings. I kept wondering why it was popping it up because I kept hitting dismiss. Like, I wasn't reading it. I was just looking at my notes, and I couldn't see the notes. I was like, dismiss. So I had to turn that off. That's annoying. It keeps shaking in my lap.
So we've recently switched over from Google Drive because we were having issues with uploads, and I've tried to share it between my personal accounts and my other Lamer Gamers account. It was just a pain. So I switched to OneDrive, and I've had a lot more luck with it. It uploads way faster.
It also works surprisingly well on Apple products.
It does. It's worked pretty well, but apparently it really wants to know how good it's doing. Am I being a good boy is basically what it's asking Rowdy right now. And Rowdy's shaking it. It's got shaken baby syndrome or something.
All right, my bad.
Not
next thing.
To joke about. All right, next thing. Payday 2 is abandoning the Switch. So it's turned... And nobody expected this game to do good. I remember talking with the GW people on the Discord. People were like, "Hey, are y'all gonna get Payday 2? Because it's like a co-op game, right? You have
dude, but it's been out before the Switch, man.
Yeah.
I had Payday 2, and I'm sure it was a Humble Bundle deal or something like that, where you got Payday 2 and then all kind of crazy DLC. And it really is a pretty fun game, but it's just, I don't think it was something that was ever gonna be good on Switch.
No,
it had more of a PC following.
Absolutely. And here's what they've said about it. We've had to look at the future console updates from our situation. As it looks today, with the limitations that we have, rather than looking back at what has been said and done before and make choices accordingly, even though they might not be what we wish. Okay, that sounds like word salad to me.
It is.
That just, I'm lost listening to that. Okay, corporate speak. Next. We simply have too many constraints in available manpower to be able to fix the situation in the short term.
That was the low-calorie BS dressing.
Yeah, they basically said, we're not making money, and we're taking this dude in a basement and moving him to this other basement.
His grandma's tired of him being there.
Yeah. So, all right. So these are things that are not going to be available anymore. Shacklethorn Auction Heist, part of the Icebreaker campaign. Reservoir Dogs Heist, Hell's Island Heist, No Mercy Heist, White House Heist, and Safe House Heist feature.
These all sound like DLC maps.
Yeah,
and
basically.
Stuff. It doesn't sound like part of the main game.
And then they said the Switch version is very unlikely, quotation marks, to receive further updates because the Switch version was developed externally. The team is not in a position to continue work on its current form, so players will miss out on future content. So it's pretty much almost every aspect is outdated in this game and diminished anyway from the PC version.
If I'm not mistaken, and I have known to be,
you're always right, Rowdy. I believe in you.
I think the people who did Payday 2 are out of business.
That's a good question.
I think they might have been, or somebody that was with Payday 2, like was developing that Walking Dead game, the last one that was supposed to come out, that pretty much got abandoned. Like, it got released on, I think, PC, and it was supposed to get, like, a PS4 release, but then just straight up got abandoned.
Well, they did come out recently and say they were going to finish that series. Like, I do remember hearing that. So, all right, so that's that news. So let's go ahead and go to something that's fun. There are new NES and NES Online games.
SNES.
It's SNES.
And NES.
Yeah, I know people that actually say SNES.
You said NES and NES.
Oh, S is
Nerd.
NES.
You said it wrong.
Hey,
Ha-ha.
so, but did I say SNES?
No, you didn't.
Have you heard people say SNES
All the
before?
time.
It is like a new thing to me. So I never realized people go SNES. All right. So first up, Star Fox 2.
It's going to be awesome.
It was never released in America, correct?
Not until they released the Super Nintendo Classic.
Yeah. So I was super disappointed. I really wanted a Super Nintendo Classic, but don't need one. Got Nintendo Online. Super Punch Out with 2 exclamation marks, by the way.
This is the one I didn't like. Is this the one where
you're like somewhat see-through?
Yeah, I didn't like this one.
I
it wasn't as
it.
good.
I like the art style, at least.
Wasn't as good as the first one on NES. Nothing. No Punch Out will beat that.
Quick question: Mr. Dream or Mike Tyson?
Oh, Mike
version?
Tyson.
Oh yeah, any day. He's going to punch you. All right, next thing, Kirby Superstar is now out.
Dude, I wasted so many hours on this game on the NES.
Oh,
SNES?
yeah. It's SNES.
On the Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo is probably my favorite console of all time.
The Super Nintendo was good stuff. It was definitely... I'm still probably thinking N64 is my favorite.
Yeah, but you're dumb.
We need to have a future debate on this. Because my thought process is I just really connected with the 3D games.
I'm not good at debates because I get really passionate about something and then just start screaming at other people that they're dumb.
That's okay. We can
like I
scream
did a
at each
second
other.
ago.
Okay. the trick is to scream away from the mic.
Oh, I shook my iPad again.
Oh, rowdy. No.
Okay.
All right, next up, Breath of Fire 2. So this is set 500 years after the original. Take on the role of Ryu. I always say Ryu, though.
Man, for years I said Ryu.
Me too.
Until recently, watching stuff on the internet and a whole lot of stuff about Street Fighter V was coming up, and everybody said Ryu. And I was like, well, I've been saying it wrong since like 89.
Did you ever play Breath of Fire? It's not one I really played. I always thought it looked cool.
I played it when they just released it again on the, what is it, the SNES Online
Yeah,
thing.
I started it, and you got turned into like a... I didn't play very long, but you got.
I couldn't make it out of the burning house before my Ambien kicked in.
God.
I was thinking about doing a whole podcast one day about one of my new favorite things to do: take Ambien and play video games, and then see what happens.
Oh God!
Wake up the next day and see where you are. Let's do that in Minecraft.
I can't condone this, Rowdy. I can't condone this at all. Kids, don't do this. All right. But this podcast is not for children, so technically. And if we say it is on YouTube, we'll get completely destroyed. So,
that's true.
All right. Next up, NES games. So this one I am super excited about because it's probably my favorite NES game.
I've heard you talk about Crystalis so much.
Crystalis is so cool. Now, I figured out why I really like the game. I think it's my first ever story that was post-apocalyptic as a kid. And coming up to that thought process of like, what does happen when the world ends? You know,
Bad stuff.
Bad stuff happens. It reminds me of one time. I have this little like kindergartner last year, and we were drawing planets, and I was talking about
because you're
planets.
a teacher.
Yes, I'm a teacher.
Okay.
Yeah, we were drawing planets in class, and he's like, "What?" I was talking about some of these other planets that like I think. Were by a supernova or something. I don't remember. He's like, will the planet die?
Yes, kid.
I was like, how do I approach this? Well, I mean, you know, eventually a long time from now, long past the time we're gone, will we die?
Well, crap.
Why do I have to answer this question again? Okay. Talk with your parents about this at some point, please.
Talk with your kids about this.
He was a really smart kid, though. A lot of kindergartners are not like, you know, considering the end times and what's beyond us. They're basically like licking the back of chairs.
Eating glue.
Yeah. So, I mean, really smart kid, though. He was one of my favorites. All right, next one is one I don't really know. Journey to Silius.
Yeah, so the only experience I have with this is watching the Game Grumps play it.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you've ever watched Game Grumps,
It's not one that
but
I watch a lot. I kind of know about the dude.
when Aaron or Ego Raptor, whenever he gets mad, it's super funny.
Ego
And-
Raptor.
Yeah, well, I mean, his name's Aaron Hansen.
Ah.
But prior to like Game Grumps, he was known as Ego Raptor when he was because he got hired on at Newgrounds when he was like not old enough to actually be hired as an animator.
Wait, Newgrounds, the old site
Oh,
from
yeah.
back in the day that had the
He was like
Flash games.
he was like 15 when they started commissioning him to do like artwork and
oh wow,
stuff for him. Well, then he started Game Grumps, and it's super funny because like, a lot of their stuff is just game playthroughs, and then they talk, and it's funny. It's also very not safe for work.
yeah.
Well, I watched them playing Journey to Silius, and it looks like a very frustrating game, and you can tell by their voices.
So I'll just read what this game says. Join Jay on his run and gun mission to take down the mechanical army responsible for his father's death. Defeat endless waves of attack robots and fulfill his father's dream of developing a space colony in the Silius solar system. Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next up is something that Rowdy's going to talk to us more about because I didn't watch it.
All right.
Sony.
So the Sony State of Play.
Sony!
In my notes, I only put down the stuff that I think is mentionable.
Because Sony states of play are a whole state of boring.
They're kind of annoying. They're not. This was actually the best one yet, but God, I keep shaking it.
What state would this be? Like, what's a boring state to go to? Who can we tick off the most?
South Dakota. Wait,
been-
South Dakota's on meth.
God.
Have you seen those
No.
posters?
No,
Oh,
I have
dude,
not.
it's something else. It's like this whole thing. It's like this whole like anti-drug thing for South Dakota. You need to look it up. It's ridiculous.
So I remember. Do you remember Cruisin' USA?
I loved that game.
Cruisin' USA.
I loved it.
So was it Wisconsin that was the one with the cows? And it was like,
I think so.
yeah, I think that would be the winner if like we were basing the U.S. off of Cruisin' USA,
And you like
or maybe the Redwood Forest, which sounds really cool in the real world, but I hated that level.
it. So the state of play, like I said, it's kind of boring. So I only put like the highlights in here. Predator Hunting Grounds looks awesome. It's a PS4
Oh, yeah.
exclusive, and
Sad.
it's a 1v4, 4v1, however you want to say it. A team of
Asymmetrical gameplay is the correct term, Rowdy.
boom. There you go.
Yeah.
So one person plays as the predator, which I actually found out can be different predators. It's not just one predator that you can be. And then the team of 4 are some commandos who are in the woods, the jungle, the city, whatever, and you hunt down the predator.
Can you
I mean-
be Arnold Schwarzenegger though?
I do not know.
Get those top up.
They definitely need to have Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny Glover in it.
DLC probably.
Oh, it'd be so awesome.
Anyway, sorry.
No, it looks pretty cool. I don't know if I'll pick it up because there's no storyline to it. Looks cool though.
It's just gonna be an online game basically that they'll abandon a couple of years from now.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
made by the same people who did Friday the 13th, so it might get some traction.
Okay.
Let's see here. Untitled Goose Game is coming to PS4.
You know what else it's coming to?
What's that?
Game Pass.
Nice.
Yeah. You don't need to get it on Sony. Get it on Game Pass. You don't need to get it on the Switch. It's coming to Game Pass. I already bought it for the Switch and I'm happy with it.
I did too. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I love some Goose Game.
Let's see here. Dreams. So if you were a fan of Little Big Planet, oh my God, I couldn't remember that for a second.
Sock puppets? Or no, they're not sock puppets. They're like
They're like little stuffed puppets.
yeah.
They're not sock puppets, but yeah, there's little
Yeah,
puppets.
knit.
They're actually called sack boys and sack girls. Yeah, let that one sink in.
No.
So, and you can make all these levels in it, and people made all these awesome designs. I mean, it was almost like a Mario Maker kind of thing before Mario Maker was around.
Oh, I didn't know you could make your own levels and stuff.
Oh yeah, it was awesome, man.
That's cool.
And well, Little Big Planet 1 and 2, like I wasted so many hours playing those games. It was so fun. I missed out on 3. I forget why. There's probably like a bunch of games that came out at the time, and that's why I missed it. But I think Media Molecule is the name of this company. They've decided to make this game Dreams. And if you have never seen anything about Dreams, it's really hard to explain, but you could basically dream up a game. You could make a game. And I've watched some videos about people making levels in it, and it looks really cool and really easy, actually, to make all this stuff. And you can download other people's levels. You can record your own sounds as well to put in there. You can load them up and let other people use them. It's just super hard to explain. You'll need to see a video.
Is it like an RPG Maker style, or is it?
No. Like, you can make platformer games, like 3D platformer type games.
Okay.
You can make. I saw somebody made like this cartoony looking kaiju game in the beta. Like, there's all kind of stuff you could do. It's something you have to watch because there's no way I could explain it all.
So what else are they pushing? I see they're pushing VR on here.
Yeah, they're still pushing VR. There's a few VR games on there.
Let it die.
We haven't seen anything about that Iron Man VR game that was supposed to be on there. I mean, I still like VR.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't have really a problem with VR. I just don't see it as a viable.
Well, that's why I'm only using like the Quest.
Yeah.
Like the Oculus Quest right now.
How is that? I mean, would you suggest that to somebody that doesn't want to like look like they're plugged in there, like they're in the Matrix?
Yeah, it's fairly easy to start up.
Does it look good enough though? I mean, do you feel like the
graphics
are
dude,
good enough?
I forget the name of the game, but there's one where I don't know how you would explain it. Like it's like ray tracing is in it. Like all of the effects, the reflections, the lighting, everything looks great in it.
Huh.
So there are a lot of games that are absolutely great, but most of the time on the Quest, if it's a ported game, it's going to have downgraded graphics.
So I know there's some video of me on somebody's phone playing some VR. We really need to find that and probably bleep it out.
We did a review of a VR game. I forget what it was.
Yeah, I forgot what it was.
It wasn't
Oh, are you talking about the
good.
one we did for NintendoEnthusiast.com? Or no, PC Enthusiast. The one that I got for free that that we wanted to throw up a lot, and we tried to see how long it would take. It was like 4 minutes was the longest we could play.
Yeah, I had to have a fan on me.
That was like
and had to
extreme
take
advanced battle racing.
Is that what it was called?
Yes, it was so bad.
Oh man, I had to take prescription strength nausea medication.
Man, they're like, "Hey guys, you want to try this free game? It's gonna make you want to vomit."
Oh man. Well, this game that I saw on here, Paper Beasts, it's really weird because there's like these animals that are running around this map, and you have to kind of move them along, kind of like manipulate the terrain to help them move from one place to another to avoid other predator type animals. And I swear to God, I saw somebody like grab an animal's head and rip it off.
Oh,
but they're not like. It doesn't look like real animals. It's weird. It's really a lot of polygons. It's polygonal. Is that a word?
Polygonal? You mean just like it's stylized to look like it's extra geometric? Or
lots of polygon looking stuff.
Okay, so it's like slightly abstracted.
It's not a game I want to play, but it's just the most noteworthy VR game they had on there.
Yeah, it's simplified stuff. Well, I mean, that's kind of what you have to do for a lot of VR. They're not very good at doing realistic graphics in VR because you're having to push, 120 or 90 frames a second? And a ton of pixels.
I think the least I've ever seen was 30 frames.
Hey, later on when we talk about the 1X, just tell me the words VR at some point.
Okay.
All right, next. What's next on your list?
Oh, the next one. I'm super excited about this one. Resident Evil 3. People thought this was going to be...
Is it a remake?
Yeah. My bad. Resident Evil 3 remake.
I was about to say, haven't we had a Resident Evil 3 in the past?
Oh, yeah. So Resident Evil got real stale there for a while. Like after Resident Evil 4 was really awesome. Resident Evil 5 was bunk. Resident Evil 6 was god awful. And then they kind of redeemed themselves making the Resident Evil Revelation game. That actually came out on the 3DS years ago, and it was amazing.
You know, I do not like the Resident Evil Revelation games. I played them on the Wii U.
Did you play Resident Evil Revelations 2?
Yes.
Revelations 2 was not good.
It sucked.
Revelations was real good.
I did not like 2.
Part 2 was awful.
Yeah.
They turned it into an episodic adventure.
Okay, that explains it.
Ugh, it was awful.
Yeah.
But so Resident Evil 3, the remake. It got real stale. Then Resident Evil 7 came out, and I was so against Resident Evil 7 because it was first person, and it just went against everything. And then I started playing it. It totally changed my mind. It was super scary again, closed corridors, not as much ammo. So Resident Evil 6 was just this big action game, and it was awful, and I hated it.
Nice.
Resident Evil 7 was awesome. So they announced the Resident Evil 2 remake, and it was going to run off of the same Resident Evil engine that Capcom has made. And it was so good. Resident Evil 2 was also my favorite one, but it was so awesome, this remake, and how awesome. Oh, God, I can't even explain. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Is it awesome, Rowdy?
So if you don't know about the Resident Evil history, Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 take place at the same time, just at different parts of the city. And if I'm not mistaken, they were working on Resident Evil 3 to be, I think, DLC or an add-on to Resident Evil 2 at the time. But Capcom really liked it and they made a full game out of it. So Resident Evil 3 is coming out. It's the same RE engine, but this one looks like it's going to be a little more action-packed, like the original Resident Evil 3. And people are saying it looks like there's some first-person aspects to the game. I remember playing Resident Evil 3 where something would happen and the game would slow down, and then you had two choices that you had to pick. And it was basically like which way to run, kind of a choose-your-own-adventure kind of thing. And that's what these first-person aspects look like. Almost like you just picked the direction that you had to move, then it goes into the first-person aspect and moves. Don't quote me on that. That's what I think.
I'm quoting you on that, Rowdy.
But it looks awesome. Everything's been upgraded to look really nice, like today.
So, one day you need to get me to sit down and play one of these games, because I need the moral support, because I can't stand the controls on Resident Evil. Or you need to show me which one I need to play.
I'm gonna make you play Resident Evil 7 then.
All right.
Because it's the most unlike Resident Evil, but got so many people into it.
All right. So the next thing I actually watched was the Indie World Showcase.
Yes.
It was pretty good. I mean, it's got to be better than State of Play.
They happened on the same day. That was funny.
Yeah, man, a lot of stuff happened last week. We haven't had a full episode in a couple weeks, and it's like all the news happened last week. So,
all the news.
All the news. First up, Axiom Verge 2. What do you think about Axiom Verge?
I really liked Axiom Verge, man. But if you don't like Metroid, you're not going to like Axiom Verge.
Yeah, it's a Metroidvania.
But
it's going to be good.
Axiom Verge 2 looks a lot different. Like Axiom Verge 1, it was real dark, almost like you were indoors the whole time, or inside like a cavern, or whatever the hell it was. But this one, it looks real open. Like there was sky in the background and stuff. So I don't know where this one's going to take place, but it looks like it's going to be pretty cool, man. I dig it.
So the next one, I think you're probably more excited than I am. I still need to play the original, but Sports Story looks pretty good.
Dude, okay, so Golf Story was awesome.
Yeah, you used to tell me about Golf Story, and that was like an awesome game.
I hate golf.
I
absolutely
don't
hate
care
golf.
for golf either.
I don't really like golf video games. Not even a fan of Mario Golf.
How old do you have to be to really like golf?
I think it's...
Are we old enough?
I think it's how much money you have, not how old you are.
I mean, I can buy some golf equipment. I just haven't felt the need for it,
But Golf Story was like an 8, well, maybe 16-bit
16 definitely
RPG golf game. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but it was so much fun the way everything worked.
It was humorous, right?
Oh, it was very humorous.
Humor.
And then you had to do all these missions to unlock new areas to go into, to unlock new golf clubs and all this stuff. So, Sports Story, the sequel, it combines more sports.
It looks like it's very tennis-based, even though it's not like they're not always using tennis things, but it's the idea of bouncing back and forth is what I'm seeing a lot in the gameplay mechanic.
and then it looks like there's actually more RPG aspects to it, more places to roam around and stuff. So I'm on board. Like, I'm getting that first day.
So the next game on the list, have you ever played Talos Principle?
I have not.
I keep seeing it. It's like one of those games that they have in like every other Humble Bundle, or they have it.
I'm pretty sure I have it
dirt
on
cheap
Steam.
on Steam. I probably own it. It's on Game Pass, as everything else. And there's like a cat that's being pet by a mechanical arm. Looks interesting, but it's like
it's a puzzle
game. Yeah,
it's almost like, it kind of reminded me of Myst.
Yeah, so if you're into those kind of games, I mean, that's coming to the Switch, which is kind of cool.
Hey, what was that game we said we were going to look up in the break, but then forgot to?
I don't know. I forgot.
It was the game that was the mashups.
Oh yeah, I don't remember what it was called though. It's none of those games on this list.
Super mashup. I don't know what it's called.
Super mashup. Yeah, so we'll get that.
You take two games, like pick two genres, then it makes a game for you.
Oh, there's a game that I needed to add on here too that I don't know if it was in the Indie World Showcase, but it was like recently talked about on Nintendo. Cardpocalypse. Did you see that?
Ugh.
I kind of like the idea. I don't know the price of it. If it's like cheap, I'm okay with it. But if it turns into like this DLC thing where you have to like buy cards to win,
done.
I'm gonna be done with it. The story looks kind of fun. It's about these kids that are trying to help save the world by using these magic cards. It's just your card. It's like a magic style card game, or more like a Hearthstone, really.
Okay.
Yeah. Next up, we have one that I'm not sure of. Murder by Numbers.
Yeah, it's weird looking, man. It's like a...
What's that little dot game that you play in this one? So it's a murder mystery style game. And you're basically this TV actor that plays in murder mysteries. But you're really being accused of it. And so you're having to go around and find clues. But you had to play Picross to get clues. I like Picross, though.
Ugh.
I don't know why, because I shouldn't, but I really enjoy it. Like, that was one of my downtime things on the Switch, was like one of the Picross games. I might play this, but I don't really care for the
visual novels.
Okay, so here's my concern. It's the same artist that did Hattuo Boyfriend.
Hattiful.
Whatever. Bird Boyfriend.
Get it right.
They date birds. I don't want to play a game with the bird dating. I don't really care. Like, if it gets out in that weird level... like there's a level of weird I like, and then there's going on dating simulators with birds.
Well,
and I just can't do it.
Just wait till we get a little further down this list.
Okay.
That game that I couldn't remember, it's called Super Mash.
Super Mash looks really cool.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Every time you play, it's supposed to be a different style of game. Now, I have this thing to where like procedurally generated stuff always sounds better than it is.
Yeah. Cloudberry Kingdom, I think, was the first game I played that was procedurally generated, and I hated it.
Yeah, so that's going to be my concern. Is it really going to be good, or is it going to be junk? Next thing, you looked super I remember you talking about this next game.
Dude.
So what is this, Rowdy? Because now there's more birds.
Have you not seen the preview for Skatebird?
I did see this one.
So, it's a skating game.
Mm-hmm.
You play as Bird.
You know who else is a skater that has a bird name?
Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk.
Dude, they are totally missing out if they don't make a character that is a hawk.
You know that's
Tony
how
Hawk.
they came up with this game. It's like 2 or 3 guys sitting around. Hey, you know it'd be funny, dude, if they had like a game with a skatebird because Tony Hawk's a bird. Like, that's the conversation that happens.
It's just pretty funny because it's like they're using like the little the little finger skateboards that kids have.
Yeah.
And they're like skating on like folded up like Thrasher magazines, and I saw one grinding off the back of a monitor. It just looks awesome. I mean, after the awful Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, like, this is the game we need. Which there's been a lot of rumors about Tony Hawk coming back with a game, but looks like we're going to have to use Skatebird instead.
Skatebird! All right, so next one I am not playing. Boyfriend Dungeon.
That's the one I was waiting to get to on here.
I just can't do it. Like, I know in this day and age, it's like you're supposed to be able to do these kind of things and not complain about it, but I just can't do it. It's not a game that is geared towards me.
So you know the premise of this game, right?
I gotta find boyfriends in a dungeon?
No.
I don't. I kind of died inside watching it.
Your weapon is
my
your boyfriend.
Wow.
That
I
could
think
go-
that's even worse.
That could go so many ways.
Like, you have to have your boyfriend to win this game. This game's going to tick off people on so many levels.
No, dude, people love like Hatable Boyfriend and Dream Daddy and all those dating simulator
Which
games.
is the Dream Daddy game kind of creeps me out too.
Dream Daddy was made by the Game Grumps guys.
Oh
Or-
God.
Produced by them. It's pretty funny, man.
It's just not my cup of tea. Just coming from a stereotypical, like, it's just not geared towards me.
It's funny, man. I'm not gonna play it, but it's funny.
Rowdy's playing these games, and
I'm
he's not telling me
kikiing over
about it.
here. Like
Yeah.
I'm secretly playing Hatful Boyfriend on my
Yes.
iPad right now.
It's like, oh God, I love this bird. Yes.
Did you ever play any of the Oddworld games?
I think so. I never really got into them. I know there's like huge following behind it.
So
Is this the first person shooter one?
yes,
So what is it?
it's I want to say it's like an HD remake.
Oddworld Stranger's Wrath?
Yeah. So you roam around, and I think you're like a bounty hunter,
Okay.
and you have to use your crossbow to like catch people, but you can get different ammo for this crossbow. I've never really played the game, but it looked like he was shooting different kinds of bugs at
Crossbows
people.
are fun.
It was weird.
Have you ever shot a crossbow?
No.
We need to go to Renfest because you can go shoot crossbows out there
I've
and
been to
throw
Ren-
axes.
There's an axe throwing place near my house.
Why have we not gone there?
I don't know.
Because I want to throw some axes. I mean, well, I do have like 10 acres of land back here. We can throw some axes one day if you want
That
to.
is true.
I mean, we don't probably have. Might take a little while for an ambulance, but you've got a paramedic. We're safe.
Yeah, but if I'm the one that loses an arm,
I've had training on some things. If we got a defibrillator around here, I'll hook that up to you. You might be bleeding to death, but I can hook it up to you. I've had training. All right.
you call 911. You grab the AED.
Speaking of trying to survive, this next game looks really fun.
The Survivalists.
The Survivalists. It's by the Escapists.
Team
people.
17. The people who make
Yeah.
Worms, people who make all
Yeah.
kinds of good games. So this one actually looks better than the Escapists.
I
You
agree.
can train monkeys.
Yes, and they do things for you. I think this is a game. I haven't shown it to my wife yet, but I think this is a game she'll enjoy. Because you're essentially, it looks a lot like kind of like a farming sim almost, but you're trying to survive. It's that top-down stylization. I think it looks really fun. You got to, gather, craft things, all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks like it's, I don't know if there's more fighting in it than most games, but I think your monkeys can fight for you.
That's cool.
Yeah, it
But
looks really cool.
It's also, I think, multiplayer up to 4 people. I know
Yeah.
2 people for sure.
Yeah, this is a
looks
game
awesome,
that's
man.
going to happen. Did they say release date?
Oh, probably 2020.
Yeah, probably 2020. All right. Is that it for that showcase?
Yeah, that's all the good stuff I could find for it. The
All right.
highlights.
Let's move down to the most boring show of all. Game Awards 2019. Now, I didn't watch it.
I thought it was tonight. We're recording this on Saturday, the 14th. I totally thought it was tonight for some reason. It was Thursday.
So I was going to watch it, but then I had I'm doing some remodeling on my house. If you listened to the teaser earlier, maybe we need to splice in the teaser over on this part. But there's been some jackhammering today because we're redoing 2 bathrooms and a washroom, and I had bought a shower. The shower decided it was its time to go, and it was going to fly away like a bird off the side of the interstate, and it tried to jump in the river. So
Nice.
yeah, I didn't go to start. I didn't watch the Game Awards because my shower bottom decided to fly out, and I had to had the police help me get it off the road.
Christ.
Yeah, it was not fun. So it was probably more fun than watching the Game Awards because it's extremely boring. So instead, I watched the best of Game Awards.
Nice.
And here's what was considered the best of the Game Awards 2019. Hey, one of the games Rowdy's looking forward to had a new trailer, Final Fantasy VII.
Man, I'm getting less and less excited about this game.
Then, why are you less and less excited about it? What's wrong with
Just
it
the
now?
more I hear about it and how long it's taken and how it's going to be episodic and...
So that's annoying. The game's already been released. Why are you making it?
I mean, the game is super long to begin with, but like the first episode is only going to take place in Midgar. And I don't know if you've played much of Final Fantasy VII, but Midgar looks really futuristic. And then once you leave Midgar, it looks like old Final Fantasy games.
And
So,
you're not
like-
there for very long, are you, in Midgar?
Well, I mean, in this one you are, because it's a whole game.
Oh, well, yeah, but if it's episodic, you know how they are with these kind of remakes now.
Well, yeah, no, it's a whole episode.
Dumb.
But the first, they say the first episode is going to be Midgar, and
Gotcha.
then everything after that's going to be post Midgar. I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll see.
All right, next up, let's hold this next one on the list till the very end. Then they announced the best esports player. Some dude named I wrote it down as Ooga. I swear to you, I put "Who cares?" ? Ooga. No, it's actually Booga. Ooga Booga.
Booga's the name of a character on Dragon Quest XI, and I hated him.
All right. Then the next best thing was the cutesy lady that had announced some ghost game last year. Ikumi Nakamura came out and did cute things. So that was that. Then J.J. Abrams announced the Fortnite event. Star Wars and Fortnite's combining. I am just reading through this list of the best stuff makes me so glad I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
It was not for me. Next up is League of Legends gets a single player two single player games. Ruined King, which is a narrative driven turn based role playing game developed by the Darksiders Genesis studio, Airship Syndicate. It's going to basically feature champions that people like and locations from League of Legends. So if you're into League of Legends, that's cool for you. Next up is Convergence, but it's like spelled CONV.
Is that backslash?
It's either a backslash or a forward slash. I always get it wrong, and then I type things into the run terminal, and they're always like, you can't do that. So it's one of the slash thingies, Urgence, RGNCE, is a single-player adventure game starring Echo, that's 2 Ks, a character that manipulates time. It's from the Speed Brawl studio, Double Stallion Games. I've never heard of Speed Brawl.
Yeah, I haven't either. I just know that
Yeah.
Riot Games make League of Legends, and I don't think they've ever put out anything I dug. So,
Yeah.
whatever.
So Ruined King and Convergence look completely different. You know, if you played League of Legends, it's basically them taking like rip-offs of other characters from other games and just kind of throwing them into I wouldn't say a melting pot. It's more like I wouldn't say a gumbo. It's just there. It's just a bunch of junk they threw on the table and they made a game out of it. I'm not the biggest fan of League of Legends, if you can't tell.
Meh.
It's just the art style is always uninspired. Now, these do look decent. Like, they look like they've gotten a team of artists that made some decent stuff, but it's just bullshot. It's not a full... They haven't shown any gameplay, so don't expect anything anytime soon from that. Next one. Meep.
It's not actually DLC. I looked it up.
Oh, is it real?
No, it's not real.
Okay, Untitled Goose Game. DLC is fake. I thought it was real.
Where they had Beaker in the
They had
game. It's
Beaker.
so awesome. I love Beaker.
Yeah, I kind of wish it was real.
Oh, yeah.
And also, they had... One cool thing was they had Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Say it right, Travis.
Reggie, that's all you need to know, Rowdy.
It's
You don't
Reggie-
need to know Fils-Aimé.
It's Reggie Fils-Aimé.
The dude that used to run Pizza Hut and then Nintendo. He promotes indie games now, which is really cool because Nintendo Nintendo has a lot to... First of all, they got helped out a ton by indie games with the Switch. If it wasn't for the indie games, the Switch probably would be nowhere as big as it is, to be honest. So it's cool that he's now helping out indies. Next one, the winner of the most awards was Disco Elysium.
It's weird, man.
Have you played that?
I haven't. A lot
I
of people talk about it like it's the best thing ever.
What is it? Like my brother told me to play, and I just haven't. Is it
It's an
MMO?
RPG.
Okay.
It's kind of isometric, original Fallout-ish type
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
Um,
I can dig that.
I'd never heard about it. It came out on PC, and then people started raving about it, and I was like, man, it's crazy just how big it got for a game that I've never heard, or a lot of people had never heard of.
I guess I need to look it up on the PC. I wonder if it'll play on my fancy new Surface tablet. All right, next up, one I'm really pumped about. No More Heroes 3.
Did you watch the?
I did, and unfortunately, I knew it was a No More Heroes 3 because the intro to this makes it look almost like this Lilo and Stitch style, cutesy world. It's like,
Yeah.
thank you, friend, and stuff. And, it's like this happy little dude.
And then he comes back and wants
Goes
to
to
destroy
space,
the world.
And then he wants to destroy everything. And it turns into like the bad guys of Dragon Ball Z whenever he comes back.
Oh my
and
god!
You're like this, yeah. So you're this little kid. You find this alien. You save him from the guys that are to come shoot him. Your stereotypical alien story, and you help him. He builds a spaceship, shoots back into space. 15 years later,
20 years later,
he comes back down to Earth, and you're like apparently running some massive corporation or something.
Well, that character, because you play as Travis Touchdown.
Oh yeah. This character has nothing to do with Travis Touchdown.
Yeah.
And so the little happy little dude that was gonna be so cute comes back and he's like, "Hey dude, we're gonna take over the planet. You ready for this? And I'm gonna just murder everyone."
And it's funny because that's
funny
exactly
that
what it's
everyone gets
like.
murdered.
Like, you're not exaggerating.
Yeah, no, it's really it's very tongue in cheek. And if you've ever played No More Heroes, you know what to expect. But the art style I'm really excited about because it like takes some of the weirdness to it to overload. That's a bad term. It's crazy. It looks great.
It's just funny that this game has made it to a third game and a spinoff.
And so what's really funny is too, like it's this, the trailer's like 15 minutes, and it's like I think it's that long, and it's like only the last.
Man, the one I watched was like 3 minutes.
Well, there's an extended one.
Oh, okay.
There's an extended one. So the last like minute or two is the only time you really see Travis Touchdown. It's like
shows up on his bike.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, well, this ain't happening. It's talk.
There's some curse words.
Yeah, there's gonna be some curse words in this game. If you've never played a No More Heroes game, it is really fun.
Not safe for work.
It is not safe for work. It comes from one of my favorite studios, or at least the creators of some of my favorite games that are at. Is it Grasshopper Studios?
I'd be lying.
I know it's the head of Grasshopper. It might be Grasshopper. They made the game Killer 7.
They cut off the grasshopper's head?
No. That I get what you're saying. Now that, yeah. No, that'd be more like a praying mantis thing, right? Okay. But anyway, so they made one of my favorite games. Have you ever played Killer 7? It was back on the GameCube. Really weird.
I remember what it looks like. I just don't remember ever playing it.
You're like hunting down 7 different
Wait,
killers.
Is this a Suda 50?
Yes.
Whatever. Suda 57? Suda 51?
Yeah, isn't that the same company? I'm pretty dang sure No More Heroes.
It's the same art style.
Yeah. Anyway, so really fun games. You have this lightsaber type device, and
It's a laser sword.
Laser sword, because you can't say lightsaber, otherwise now Disney will come after you and
steal your Baby Yoda gifts.
Face. What?
They'll steal your Baby Yoda gifts.
Yep. Oh, are they claiming those yet?
Oh yeah.
Oh God. Anyway, so and you ride around on a motorcycle and you're super tough and you want to be a wrestler. It's just fun. God, I love those games. And best part, main guy's name is Travis Touchdown.
That's the worst part of the game.
That's the best part. Simply Travis.
People named Travis are awful.
They're amazing.
I'm sorry out there if your name is Travis.
Not me.
But not that Travis that's sitting across from me.
Yeah. This Travis sucks. All right, next up, Bravely Default 2. Wait a second. What happened to wasn't there already a 2?
So, you know how Capcom's really weird about the way that they
number things?
Square Enix is even more weird. Because you know they have there's Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy X-2. There's Final Fantasy 13, Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Return, or is that 14?
Is this strictly a Japanese company thing?
I don't know, but the way Square Enix numbers things
is dumb.
The big RPGs that Square Enix does is obviously Final Fantasy, and the other big one is Dragon Quest.
Mm-hmm.
So when they number stuff, and Xenogears and Xenoblade has done kind of the same thing, that whenever it's a new number, it's new characters, a new world, a new story. So technically the second Bravely Default game was called Bravely Second, but it was a continuation of Bravely Default. So Bravely Default 2 is new characters, new world, new story, new lore. It may have nothing to do with the first game, kind of like the Final Fantasy games.
So I am wondering, it's not going to be related, or that's the thought process now. It's not related at all. Because like the Xenoblade series, they're all loosely related somehow.
It may have some of the same lore,
Mhm.
kind of like how in Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade Chronicles 2, how they talk about the Titans and everything that.
Yeah.
I mean, there may be some of the same lore, but if it follows the same Square Enix stuff, like, it's not going to be the same. It's not going to have any continuation from the last one. Because like the Final Fantasy games, like, the only thing you really see in each one of them is like a chocobo. That big chicken thing you ride around. Yeah. And cactars.
Yeah, that's like the continuing theme. Apparently, chocobos and cactars are within many realms.
Because, I mean, some Final Fantasy games are based in, like, medieval times, and some of them are very futuristic-esque. Like, Final Fantasy 15 had a flying car.
It's because...
You shut your face, it's a good game.
Chocobos. Oh. I wasn't going to make fun of your boy band game.
Final Fantasy 15 was so good, you shut your face.
I wasn't going to make fun of this K-pop looking game of yours. All right. I was going to say that there's a conspiracy that chocobos secretly run the world.
I'd believe it.
And the cactars are their antennas.
Dude, I didn't know this. Cactars are really hard to kill.
I haven't played any of these games.
Like, one jumped out.
I don't even remember.
One jumped out in Final Fantasy 15. I'm like, oh, you're about to die.
You know
and
what?
It didn't.
You know what? I'm going to be playing these games soon on, you know what?
Game Pass.
On Game Pass! Yeah!
You need to play Final Fantasy 15
Finally,
first.
I've waited so long, I don't have to pay full price.
You've waited so long to not play Final Fantasy 15.
And it's going to be amazing, right?
It's going to be awesome, and you're going to love it. And you're going to be like, Rowdy, I'm so sorry.
If it is that good, I will apologize.
You will never admit to it. You're going to secretly play it, and I'm going to have to ask your wife. Be like, is he secretly playing this game and loving it?
Is he enjoying it? Does he look happy when he's playing? Does his eyes light up when the K-pop boy band comes across the screen and they talk about their camaraderie and enjoy things and are happy together?
There actually is a lot of that now that I think about it.
Yeah. So. All right, next up, what the heck is this game? Ghost of Tsushima?
You said it just right.
Hey, I thought it's sushi. Yeah.
Ghost of Sashimi. It's made by the Sucker Punch, and if you've ever played the Infamous games, like, they made all of those. I love the Infamous games, man. They're not original games. I mean, you play as a superhero and you get superpowers, and but
see, I think I mixed up a game recently because I just played Crackdown 3 for the first time.
No, Infamous games were only on PlayStation.
And I thought that was a game like where you'd get superhero powers, and I didn't.
No, you play as Terry Crews. That's a superhero enough.
I wasn't feeling the gameplay. It's okay. The story, like,
don't worry, a lot of people weren't feeling that game.
Okay, it's not just me, because I thought, I've seen the Digital Foundry videos. They're like, oh, it's the best looking game because of the HDR stuff, but it just wasn't fun.
Nah. But Ghost of Tsushima, it's made by the people who made Sucker Punch, so the fighting and everything on it's going to be very fluid if they continue on like they did with Infamous. It's a samurai type story. It takes place in Tsushima, Japan. I don't know if that's a real place. It looks really gory, but I'm hoping it's not like the next game we're going to talk about on the list.
You mean the game of the year?
Dude, I'm not happy about this.
Is Rowdy's favorite? What game was it, Rowdy?
Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice.
But Rowdy, you told us you loved this game at one episode.
Dude, look. They call this game Shadows Die Twice. Mine was more like Shadows Die 4 billion.
All of them dead.
Dude, it died so much. And like the first 2-3 hours of this game were so fun. It was so amazing. I loved the way it controlled. I loved the way it looked. And then it just got hard. And I don't have the patience for these fights, man. Like,
there's a lot of parrying too. You don't have a lot of
that's all it
wiggle room, like blocking, right?
I mean, you have to watch the way people move, and there's warnings on the screen, and it was not for me, man. I don't have the patience for it. It's actually one of the reasons why I haven't played that new Star Wars game, because a lot of people compared it to Sekiro and that other game that I can't remember right now that there were 3 of that are really hard.
Bloodborne, Dead Souls,
Dark
Dark
Souls.
Dead Souls. That whatever. Actually, somebody's trying to convince me to play Dark Souls 3 right now.
You have fun with that.
That might happen over the Christmas break, and because I'm not going to be teaching.
I'll have nothing to do with that.
I think they're supposed to pull me into meetings at some point. I never know. But I'm going to try it, and we'll see if I don't want to break everything.
So I can see why Sekiro got Game of the Year. It really was good. It was designed well. It played
pretty
well. A lot of people loved it. And if you love that Dark Souls, parry system, Bloodborne, that was the other game I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand why it won. Did you hear about the drama behind some of the video game awards stuff with Death Stranding?
No, I didn't.
So there were a lot of people that were like, "Oh, Death Stranding's gonna win Game of the Year because Jeff Keighley was in it." Jeff Keighley's the guy that runs the Game Awards.
That runs the whole thing.
Started the Game Awards and everything.
He's like the gaming world's Ryan Seacrest.
Funny thing is, I never ran into him in Death Stranding. But he's in the game, and everybody's like, "Oh, Death Stranding's gonna win because Jeff Keighley was in it."
Wrong.
It didn't win.
All right, so I guess the biggest announcement and the most exciting thing was the stupidest name for a gaming console. Xbox Series X. It's so confusing. It's like the Wii U all over again. You remember the Wii U, Rowdy?
Yeah, man.
History barely remembers it.
When the Wii U came out, a lot of people thought that it was just an add-on for the Wii.
And honestly, when you look at the Xbox One X and you look at the Xbox Series X, is it the same generation? And
look, man, you've got the Xbox One S, the Xbox One X, and the Xbox Series X. It's like a cell phone or a car now. Apple does this with their naming.
And I've been talking about this for a while. I still contend that the Xbox One X is going to play all your next-gen stuff just on a lower level. And this makes me think it is definitely going to do that. So they announced the specs or, basically what it's going to do. They didn't give us all of it, all the nitty gritty behind it, but basically its processor is a custom AMD Zen 2 based CPU. It's going to have 8 cores at 3.6 gigahertz.
Hey, so real quick, the PS5, I did look up some stuff from what I could find about the PS5 so far. It has an AMD Zen 2 as well. Just not
it's very similar. Yeah,
AMD Zen 2.
So and we talked about this episode or two ago where we combined like what the rumored specs were, and they're about the same. However, this is definitely probably going to hit a little bit harder. First of all, the CPU that is in the Xbox Series X is 4 times stronger than the Xbox One X, which is the current bottleneck on the Xbox One X, if you look at it. The graphics processor on the Xbox Series X. Now, this is going to get really confusing. Why they have to name these consoles so similar? We'll talk about that a little bit more in the design debate. But it's using an AMD Navi-based GPU. Now, it's supposed to have 12 teraflops.
That's a lot of teraflops.
That's a lot of flops. So... it's going to be a fast system. The Xbox One X is currently clocking at 6 teraflops. So the graphics processor is twice as fast. Now, the difference here is that there is ray tracing built into the Xbox Series X. And there's another rumored system just sitting around waiting to be announced called the Lockhart, which won't be its final name. They're probably going to name it something stupid like the Xbox Series S and get everybody confused again. But that's running at 4 teraflops, which is less than the Xbox One X.
That's not a lot of flops.
That's not a lot of flops. Now, it is going to probably have a better CPU, and it's going to have ray tracing built in. Now, this new system, the Series X, has 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 RAM, which is good stuff. 13 gigabytes of it is guaranteed for game developers. So the OS is only going to run on 3 gigabytes of RAM, which is good. Now, the biggest bottleneck for a lot of systems, and especially the One X, is the drive. They're using an NVMe solid-state drive. It can have read speeds up to 2 gigabytes per second. Wait, Rowdy's super excited on that.
No, I don't understand any of that.
Okay, so it go fast.
No, I know.
Yeah, it go fast and make game graphics go shiny.
I am a fan of solid state drives. They're
I
just
do
super
love me
expensive.
Yeah, so solid state drives are where it's at. Honestly, you can have many laptops or tablets, and the difference between a solid state drive in your laptop or tablet versus one that has the old spinny desktop is night and day. So,
Oh yeah.
next up, it does have video output of 4K and 8K at 120 hertz.
We'll see.
However, huh?
We'll see.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my problem. Math time. I'm not going to go too far into the math. Rowdy, just give me a second. I have maths to go over. All right, next. Here's the problem. 8K technically has 4 times the amount of pixels of 4K. Okay? It does have double the pixels width and height, but whenever you multiply it, it's 4 times. Anyway, so you're telling me that a system that has, like the Xbox One X, okay? So Xbox One X can push out games that are 4K, actual 4K, unlike most of the PS4 Pro games, which run it in checkerboard style, which is fake 4K. Wannabe 4K.
Anyway, it looks awesome. You shut your face.
Yeah, whatever. So the Xbox One X is half the power of this new system, but they're expecting to push out 4 times the pixel. And the Xbox One X can currently run games 4K at 30 FPS really, really well. 60 is hit or miss in the 4K realm. But they're expecting this new system that is double the power graphically. Now, 4 times the power in CPU, that really isn't going to matter too much with your frame rates on a lot of things. They're expecting it to push out 4 times the amount of pixels with 4 times the amount of frames, which if you really did the math and thought about the pixel output that's going through, it's going to blow up your brain, and it's not, I think, going to happen. Unless this magical SSD drive is really doing, and the ray tracing is taking a lot of load off the system, I don't see it hitting 8K at 120 frames per second unless your games look like they're on a Nintendo 64 like Body Harvest game.
But what about the flops?
Rowdy, the flops are not, there's not enough flops to flip and flop it up to those flopping levels.
But
flop. So that's my concern. They're saying 8K and that it's future proof. It might be, but I think they're going to have to take some liberties out of this. They're going to have to turn off, like what they do with the Switch, to get graphical parity on a lot of games. They take away the anti-aliasing.
Ooh.
You see that a lot on the Switch games.
Yep.
Now, if you're running a game that's at 8K, it's probably not going to need it though.
Okay.
Okay, because you have so many pixels, you really don't have, you're not going to have that stair step effect in the same manner. So there's a possibility there. I'm still really, most PC rigs aren't running 8K. I just don't see it happening. Now, next thing, there is an optical drive on this. It is 4K. It is Blu-ray. I'm excited about that. Now, the price right now I saw was $4.99. On my sheet right here, it says unknown, but I've seen $4.99 being thrown around a lot. So that's kind of what I'm expecting it to be. Now, here comes the next fun part. If you haven't seen this yet, and this is a podcast, so let me try to paint you a picture. Think about a box you get from Amazon. Stand it up straight, paint it black, and put a CD slot on it, and you have the Xbox Series X.
Poke some holes in the top.
Poke a hole in the top and have green lights coming out of it. It's literally a rectangular prism. It looks like something you would expect to see in Space Odyssey 2020. It's like a monolithic style system. Now, I've seen some people go, oh, it's brutalist style. No,
What?
it's not. Okay, so brutalism is a like post or Soviet era style. It's just ugly. It's basically what it means.
It's brutal.
There's a lot of famous museums and stuff that are brutalist style. They just look completely different than the architecture around them. They're usually like weird angles and look completely unnatural, and they're just junk. As you can see, I am totally not a fan of brutalism. But it's not brutalist. It's just a box.
You're pretty brutal about brutalism.
Yeah, brutalism sucks. All right, so now everybody's freaking out, though. because it's such a weird shape for a gaming system. We're used to seeing rectangles, but flat rectangles, not big fat rectangles.
Not standing up rectangles.
Yeah. Now you can put it on its side. Now there is one fan in this thing. It's gonna be a big old flopping fan, a flip flopping fan.
It's for all the flops.
All the flops are gonna fly out of this thing, and it's green. It's got a green light, which is really cool. I've wanted that on like an Xbox because I do like them LEDs.
You want it to look like a Fast and the Furious car?
Heck yeah, man.
Oh my God, I forgot at the Game Awards they announced a Fast and the Furious game, and it looks like it was on PlayStation 2.
Good. I'm glad we didn't talk about it. All right. So now people have gone online, Windows Central, which actually leaked a lot of this information. They've been like the place to go to for rumors to actually make sense. This thing is 6 inches wide and 12 inches tall, and it is 6 inches deep. It's a big box. Now we're used to seeing old system, like basically imagine standing an Xbox One X straight up and then stacking two beside each other. That's pretty much the system.
It's actually a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be.
It looks larger than it really is.
Looks like a refrigerator.
It does look like a refrigerator. Actually, I've been talking to Rowdy about all of our remodeling that we've done, and he sent me a picture of a kitchen or something. I was about to text him like, oh, that's a fun idea. I was thinking he was sending me some ideas for remodeling.
I would never.
No, there was an Xbox Series X snuck into the picture. There are so many good memes on the way this thing looks. Now, here's the thing. I kind of like this.
I do too.
Okay, Rowdy's changed his mind since I talked to him at first.
Yeah.
I think it's grown. Has it grown on you?
It's grown on me. I think I want one. Until I find out what the PS5 has.
Yeah, well, so here's the thing. It's a smart design. You know, if they're trying to future-proof things and they're going to need to have a huge fan on it. Now, they do say it only has one fan. It's no louder than Xbox One X.
Yeah.
Xbox One X, if you got a surround sound system on, you're good. I mean, if you have the noise on, you're good. This is not PlayStation or PS3 level loud. There is no jet engine in an Xbox One X. Okay? So you're not really going to have to worry about it being too loud. Now, there is a new controller with it. The new controller has a share button. Rowdy, how do you feel about the share button?
I don't like share buttons.
Why not?
The PS4 has had one, and I can't tell you how many times, like in the beginning, I would accidentally hit it, thinking it was almost like the select button or menu button or whatever, and it would start recording video. I don't need that.
So this one is dead in the center.
I'm gonna hit it so many times.
Probably. Now I'm kind of excited about the share button because the current way you take and share screenshots and video on the Xbox One X is stupid. It was not made for that. You can tell their operating system was not like the Switch, which is very seamless. The way you do screenshots and stuff, you just tap the button and it takes a picture.
Mm-hmm.
This one, you got to take the button and it freezes the screen. You got to press the Y button or the X button. And I always get them wrong because they're backwards on the Nintendo. I record videos when I should be taking a screenshot, or take a screenshot when I'm supposed to be doing video, and then the moment is ruined.
But what happens with the new one if you hit the share button, then it brings up a menu? Would you like to share a picture or a video? Or would you like to make a GIF out of this? Or would you like to make it a GIF?
I hope it's not that bad. I hope it's just like the little tappy thing that you get with the Switch. Now, here's the reason why I think it is going to be that.
Because that's what you want it to be?
No. A big selling point that they're talking about is that you will be able to save states in your game.
Like Google Stadia?
Shut up, Rowdy. Like emulators. We're going to say that. We need to stop talking about Google Stadia on the show because it's stupid. All right. I'm not biased. I'm totally biased. Anyway. Okay. So here's the thing. They're going to have save states in this. Now, if you look at the way the Nintendo Switch is designed, it's constantly saving like images, like video. Like whenever you hold down the picture button on the Switch, it saves the last 30 seconds of your video, your game video. There's like a whole different layer that's basically taking the image on your screen and saving it in video constantly and deleting it out of the cache. I think that's basically what they're doing with the One X or One Series X. They're looking at the way Nintendo did some smart things with the Switch, and they're basically coding into it, thinking forward like they should have done a long time ago.
Well, it's not so smart because I didn't know you could do that with a Nintendo.
You didn't know you could do the video like that, man?
Nope.
Wow. We need to teach you things, man. Yeah, you can share. Okay, so teaching time. You press the button once for a picture. You hold it down, and it does 30 seconds of video. From what you just did. It doesn't send you to another screen like the stupid Xbox does. What does the PlayStation do? Because I don't own a Sony.
It says recording up in the top.
Does it record from that point, or does it show what you've done before?
I don't know. I've always deleted all the videos because I never wanted them to begin with.
Okay, well, I've shared them. Now, I will admit, though, your complaint about the share button and hitting it by accident, I've taken so many pictures by accident on the Switch. It's kind of like whenever you hand a toddler your phone, that there's a bunch of random pictures up somebody's nose. Yeah, that's pretty much what it's like for my Switch. There's probably 3,000 pictures, and I'm sure about 1,000 of them are... Yeah.
I mean, I've maybe taken 5 pictures on my Switch that I needed to keep.
So the reason why I do it is because if like there's a cool shot in the game that I really like, I want to just be able to go back and kind of relive the game looking at my favorite images in there.
Dude, the first picture I ever took on the Switch is when I was playing The Legend of Zelda, and I was near one of the horse places, the horse capsules, the horse farms,
the horse capital of the world.
Wherever you store your horses.
Okay.
The stable.
Those things.
You're near the stable. And there was a kid. He was playing under a horse, and his speech bubble says, poop, poop, poopy, poop.
Wow.
So I took a picture of it.
I could see this.
It was awesome.
Okay. So it's gonna, the style I kind of like. Now, okay, so let's go before we compare it to the PlayStation 5. The naming system is stupid. They're copying what Elon Musk, is that his right name? I feel like it's wrong.
No, that's right.
Okay, Elon Musk and Tesla does. They have basically named their cars in a way where you put them next to each other and it spells out sexy. Well, if you look at the Xbox Series X, if you shorten it, it's going to be, Xbox Bleep.
Xbox 6.
Yeah, that. Great. Thanks, Rowdy. Now YouTube is going to be like, oh, you can't put this video online. Y'all are tiny creators. We're going to end you.
No, man, it's more than 30 seconds in. We're good.
Okay, sure.
We don't
anyway. So basically the Xbox Series X right now is... They did this with the One, though. If you look at the HTC phones, they were called the HTC One. So they copied a phone manufacturer last time. This time they're copying Tesla.
I think they're copying Apple with the S's and the X's. And
that is true, but they've kind of already done it. Now they have the word Series.
Yep.
Get an original name, for God's sakes. At least Nintendo is like somewhat original with their names. PlayStation, they're just like numbers. Who cares?
I've never been confused with a PlayStation system.
That is true. Now with the Nintendo,
the higher the number, the better it is.
That's the next one, right? It's the number 6. Now they're gonna probably do something stupid whenever they get to like 9 and skip straight to the X and just call it PSX. Just wait. Oh my gosh, what would you do if
the PSX is actually what people have dubbed the first Xbox.
But they're going to do it anyway.
I hate that.
It's going to be stupid.
I hate that.
So, watch them name the PlayStation 5 something stupid just to mess with us.
No, man, it's just going to be PlayStation 5. That's it.
Us. All right.
The PSS Enterprise.
Yes.
It looks like a starship.
So, now the Xbox Series X is basically turned into the Cybertruck of video game consoles.
Nah, it doesn't have enough angles.
Well, okay, it's more boxy. But it is the meme station right now. It has beaten the PlayStation 5 dev kit. Was putting a lot of memes, not a whole lot. This thing is everywhere right now. Like Wendy's made fun of the Xbox. Did you see that recently?
Oh, I believe it. Wendy's makes fun of everything.
They had the the Baconator Series X, and it just shows like a Baconator that's like 10 patties high. It's great. So there's a lot
Nice.
of really good memes right now. I was sharing them on our. Hey, by the way, if you're on Facebook, look for the Lamer Gamers community, and I've been sharing some memes over there on the Xbox One X and the Xbox Series X. I'm going to be this way for the rest of time. I'm going
Yep.
to say the wrong console.
Even when it comes out.
I need a new name.
Zit.
All right. Okay, so what are your thoughts, Rowdy, on how this looks versus the PlayStation 5 dev kit that's been leaked?
Man, that PS5 dev kit is so ugly.
I love it.
It looks dumb, but the more I looked into it, it turns out that the rumor is the reason why they're shaped that way is so they get more airflow because the devs are stacking them. So they're made to be stackable so that they can have different save states for different games. So I saw a picture online. It was 2 or 3 of them stacked on top of each other. And apparently what they'll do is when they're making the game, they'll have the game on one of them. And if they change something in it, then they'll test it on the next one, just in case they need to go back to the original state. They could just go right back to that PlayStation instead of having to undo code and everything like that. So they're made to be stacked, and that's why it's got so much airflow on them right now. I hope it does not come out looking like that.
You know, I kind of wanted to look like that
Oh,
because you can put a slice of pizza in between 2 of those, and it works like an air fryer.
but yeah.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? I mean, you'd have an issue with some like oil on the bottom.
Oh yeah.
But it would totally be a nice hand warmer. You just get a couple PS5s and load them up in your house. You don't need a heater.
God, I'm hoping
You just
it
put
doesn't
your
come
hand
out looking
in
like
between
that.
it. It's going to blast hot air to it.
I'm,
Now-
I'm hoping it's just a dev kit, man.
So one thing I've thought about the way that it's shaped is you would have 2 fans. You'd have a fan on the right and the left, and then one in the center, right?
yeah.
Is that center fan going to have to blow like way stronger than the other ones to get the air to not just kind of sit in the middle?
Ooh, I don't know, man.
So I wonder if it really does work like the PS5 Enterprise.
Hey, man, I just had an epiphany. Like, I just remembered what the GameCube dev kit looked like. Have you ever seen a GameCube dev kit?
Does it look like a toaster?
It looks like an Xbox Series X.
Oh, it does look like an Xbox Series X, but with 4 ports on the side, and it's gray.
Yeah, dude, that's the GameCube dev
Looks
kit.
like a gateway computer that's been laid on its
I
side.
don't know what just made me think of that.
Wow.
Dude.
Well, you know, I thought the Xbox Series X kind of reminds me of a black Wii, like 3 of them stacked next to each other, but all the holes are covered up but one. Wow. Yeah.
So I just showed him a picture. It's
Some dev kits. They're
it's
boxy.
It's an Xbox dev kit, a PS2 dev kit, a GameCube dev kit, and a Dreamcast dev kit. And all of them except the PS2 just look like computer towers.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, so I think that is it for our real news section. Although we did get a little bit into the fake news, it kind of snuck in there.
It happens.
So next up, we are going to be talking about some new games that are going to be announced. Pokemon is breaking records, but not really. And some other, just a couple rumors. So after we get back from the break, expect our next section, fake news. All right, guys, before we start diving into the fake news of the week, don't forget that you can tell your friends to check us out on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, lamergamers.transistor.fm, or wherever you cast your pods, except for
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio won't put us on their system, and I don't know why. Hey, guys, if you're listening, tell iHeartRadio they need to get us on there. Okay, sorry.
They're dumb.
Yeah, they're dumb. Oh, and Pandora. We need to be on there. All right, next up. So, there's some new games that have been announced. There's a new BioShock that's been announced. You ever play BioShock?
Yeah, I played the first 2. I didn't play Infinite.
Yeah, so it's a good game. It's kind of an Art Nouveau style futuristic game. It's going to be in development for the next several years. It's not really a rumor that anybody didn't expect.
Yeah.
I mean, did they announce that it was going to not come back after Infinity?
Infinite.
Whatever. Infinite.
No, they didn't announce it. Apparently, it's been in development for a little while already.
Yeah, this rumor
And
came
now
out in
they're
2018.
They're coming out saying, well, the reason why it's big news now is because there's who's the company that I don't remember the company, the parent company, but they announced a new game studio that's going to be taking over this, and they've got quite a few people from past BioShock games. It's a different director, but quite a few people from the first 3 BioShock games are going to be in it.
They're getting the team back together. Except they got a new
not the whole
captain.
team.
Yeah. All right, next up is Pokemon is breaking records. People are saying it's the highest selling highest selling Pokemon. That is not correct.
Yeah, man, I almost threw something against the wall when you were telling me this. I was like, man, there's no way, because like I've looked at how much it sold compared to Pokemon Sun and Moon, and then Pokemon X and Y, and it's steadily been selling less. But that's because this is the highest grossing.
It's the grossest
Pokemon
one
game.
of all.
So it's because each game is selling for $60.
Yeah, if you think about what did the game release for on the Game Boy, probably 30 or 40 bucks, right?
And then on the 3DS, I think the max was like 50.
Maybe. And granted, like Walmart was selling it cheaper than 60 bucks.
Yeah.
But this game is selling for 60 bucks in most places, and then they're doing like these special editions, or you buy both of them at the same time because you got no friends and you
get
both
$10
of them.
off.
Yeah.
Wait,
you
no.
get $10 off?
If you buy both of them at the same time, I think it's $20 off, depending on where you buy it.
So yeah, I mean, there a lot of these gaming companies that or journalism groups. There was a lot of news about how bad Pokemon was and all the evils of the Pokemons. And they're just, I think, going for clickbait at this point. You know, it is the highest grossing. That's cool news, I guess, but it just means it's more expensive.
That's why I just never believe anything when they say setting new records. I'm like, yeah, what record?
Yeah. All right. Next rumor is, well, it's kind of a rumor, but it's kind of been stated. There's some rumory things going into it. Did you know that baseball is only on Sony systems? Well, Major League Baseball.
I did.
And yeah, you were telling me like it's a huge thing on the Sony. I never realized it.
MLB like The Show it's actually, I mean, I've played, oh God, I played one of them. I forget what it was. I don't really like baseball all that much, but it's the baseball game. People flip over this game. I didn't realize it. I actually knew somebody personally who quit their job. Let's just say they had a city benefits type of job with an amazing retirement and amazing benefits package. They left this job. They quit to stream MLB The Show because they made more money doing that.
That's crazy sauce. Now, the thing here is that I never realized that it's only on Sony that Major League Baseball is. And so it's called The Show.
Yep.
And they've announced that it will no longer be exclusive to PlayStation consoles as early as 2021. Now, no official announcements have been made, but Microsoft and Nintendo retweeted it. So it's pretty darn certain that it's going to be on all the other systems.
It's still going to be a Sony-based game. Just it's going to be everywhere now.
And, you know, the thing to me is I know there are a lot of people that are into baseball. I'm sure it's fun as a game. You remember Wii Sports Baseball? That stuff was fun. Very not realistic. But and
nobody had legs.
Some people hit a home run through their TVs where they weren't wearing the Wii remote straps. Yeah, I've seen some videos of that.
Yeah.
But, you know, to me, baseball's really boring to watch. It's okay to play.
Yeah. I just don't like sports.
I mean, it's actually how I broke my nose was a T-ball back in the day.
How did you break your nose? Never mind.
No, this is a good story. So, I was a kid. I got a new fancy aluminum baseball bat from my parents.
Aluminum bat?
Aluminium. I don't know. So, I was a kindergartner, and I didn't have a concept of spatial, reasoning. So, I had my friend, and neither did my friend. I don't remember his name. You'll hear why I probably don't remember his name. I let him, hey, check out my baseball bat. And I handed my baseball bat, and he decides to test swing it in the dugout. He decides to test swing it up against my face.
I was going to say, the dugout was a nickname for your face.
Yeah, he had a home run against my nose, and I was bleeding everywhere. I do remember I didn't cry, though. I was just like, huh, there's blood everywhere. And so, yeah, I went to the hospital, and I broke my nose with the... That's why I can't breathe out of this nostril as much. Because of T-ball. T-ball was rough, Rowdy. T-ball was hard.
Man, I was in T-ball, and you know how good I was in T-ball?
Did you strike out?
I was the catcher.
Oh, that's pretty good, man. Some Matrix level stuff.
What else? And I was left field.
I was one of those. I was not very good.
Left field means you're awful.
I probably was left field. I mean, I was the kid that got beaten in the face with a baseball bat. So,
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is. We're not that great. I mean, I played football and stuff. We're not that great at sports, I don't think. You remember Macarena in football?
No.
Oh, we had to do that for a halftime show. Remember the Spanish teacher made us do that?
Yeah,
We both played football in junior high. You probably didn't have to because you were in football and band,
Yeah.
and you got to go play in the band during halftime.
I had to take off my helmet and pads and then go march.
And I had to dance the freaking Macarena because that was the thing at the time.
Yeah, but I didn't get a break.
You played music to the Macarena. No, you didn't get a break. That sucks.
Like my half times, like we're just marching up and down the field playing music, and then like instantly throwing my horn down, and then putting helmets and pads back on.
Yeah, man. Rowdy was tough. All right, is this our last rumor? This rumor section really short, guys. Oh no, we got two rumors.
Yeah, they're small
All right.
rumors.
Next one is multiple Metroid games are rumored. So this comes from a Leaky Panda. At Leaky Panda, it's one of the leakers online. I think they do a lot of digging into games with what's that term where they dig into a game? Data mining. So Nintendo is planning 2 new Metroid titles that will release in the next 2 fiscal years, respectively. One is a re-release of Metroid Prime Trilogy HD.
I'm totally into this.
I'm totally into that, especially if they have gyro controls.
Oh man, I just remembered when the first ones came out, they weren't dual stick, were they?
I think they were Wii games, right?
No, the first 2 were GameCube, and I know
Okay, then they would've been-
I know GameCube has 2 sticks, but you didn't use the C stick as an actual stick.
Oh, because you had that lock-on
I
stuff.
think it would change your weapons, like or change the blaster powers.
Yeah. Okay, so, and then the next one is going to be the Super Metroid remake that mimics Samus Returns in style and scope. Belle's excited about that one. I just heard her.
Boo.
Belle's our ornery pit bull that likes to whine during the show. So those are cool, but none of those are really new games. You know, there's some problems going on at Retro, though. They've lost a ton of staff recently. So it just sounds like they're just trying to pump out remakes until a team can kind of like get together and do what they need to.
Well, Retro, like they just recently got put in charge of Metroid.
Yeah.
Because what is it? Somebody was working on Metroid and they dropped the ball, and Nintendo was like, "No, bad studio.
Bad studio. Go
and
away."
They took it away from them and gave it back to Retro, and Retro's only had it
Oh, okay.
not very long.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking of another company, but it just hasn't been working at Nintendo. They can't get a Metroid game out for anything.
Well, I mean, the
But-
last big Metroid game I want to say was that one that actually
Prime Echoes?
gave me heart problems.
Metroid Other M.
Yes, that was
Yeah,
it.
that one did not do very well.
That one
What,
was,
it gave you heart problems?
It gave me heart problems.
What happened?
It put me in the hospital. It was so bad.
Oh, are you being serious? Or
I'm
facetious?
being 100% okay. I'm being half joking. But
Okay.
like I was in the middle of the game and I felt like my heart was racing really fast. This was also at the point where I was working
Way
12
too
hours a night, and then when I would get off work at 4:30 in the morning, I would take a nap, then go to school till
Oh yeah.
1 in the afternoon, 2 in the afternoon, and then go back to work at 4:30 in the afternoon, work till 4:30 in the morning, do school again. So I was, lots and lots of caffeine.
There's somebody that's not in the workforce listening to the show going, "Oh my god."
So
What?
there's lots and lots of caffeine going on, and I actually ended up in the hospital, not because of Metroid, but while I
because
was
of
playing
Metroid.
it, like my heart rate jumped to like 180, 220, somewhere in there, and that's not conducive with living.
Yeah, did you have like that conversation where your doctor's like, "Man, you really need to quit your job and do something else"?
Well, I told them that I was in the medical field.
I've had that conversation. My doctor's like, your blood pressure's stupid. What are you doing again?
Eating.
I'm working 2 jobs, 3 jobs. I don't know. Simultaneous. Anyway, all right. So that's fun. Okay, last one is, did you know the PS5 may be sold for less than the Series X?
I bet it will. Just because I don't think they're going to put as much hardware in it. I don't think it's going to be up to snuff
I don't
with
think
the
so either.
Series X. I think they'll definitely do ray tracing, but I think it's probably the only thing they'll really add. I mean, they've rumored to try and push 8K, but I seriously doubt that they push it much further. I bet they're going to try to get $100 under the Series X.
I mean, they're going to have to. Now, the problem is they don't have the padding that Microsoft does. Because we've talked about this recently on a couple episodes ago, to where we kind of looked into how Sony's doing. And it's their games division that makes them money. The rest of the company, not so much. Spider-Man, man, is costing them some big bucks.
No, Spider-Man's making them money,
Oh,
homie.
Spider-Man's making them money now?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it was.
Basically, the only thing that's making them money is Spider-Man in games.
That's right. That's why they had that back and forth with Marvel Universe.
That's why they weren't willing to give up Spider-Man like that with Disney.
Yeah.
Because with the last Spider-Man deal, what was it? I forget how much money they had to put up front, but
it was like half. It was a ridiculous amount.
They had to put up a good bit, and then I think Disney wanted half of the money.
Yeah.
Well, then when they did a new contract, Sony tried to demand more money. Disney was like, nah. And then they broke it all off. And then apparently Tom Holland got drunk and called Bob Iger or whoever at Disney.
That. Yeah.
Like, I thought it was just a joke, and then I read the story. Apparently he really did get drunk and was like, please make Spider-Man. And they were like, okay.
So that's awesome. So, here's the thing. Microsoft's doing really well right now. They just got a huge government contract with the new Azure stations, the Azure servers. Windows is doing really well. Windows 10 has kind of almost been like a renaissance for the company compared to what they did with 7 or anything in between. Everybody forgets those in between
8
states.
was awful.
Oof. Woof.
They didn't even make a 9. Like everybody else, they just skipped 9.
And they're actually doing quite a bit of innovation trying to move to more mobile processors right now with some of their new hardware.
Sony has something to do with, or Microsoft has some kind of contract where Sony can use Azure technology or something.
Yeah, I mean, they're making money off of their competitor.
Well, I mean, it's Windows. I mean,
yeah, but still, Microsoft has a lot of wiggle room to put out a system that's going to cost more than $500. I'm sorry, but the Series X, for what it is putting out there, that is not cheap to do. If you tried to make a PC that was similar, I couldn't imagine. I forgot what the equivalent was, but I mean, you're looking at least $1,000 system.
I had a buddy who recently put together a computer that was basically in about a tower the size of the Xbox One. It was Series X.
Yeah.
It was like a mini tower, and he put solid state drives in it, RTX 2080. So it's pretty much top of the line-esque stuff. It's not like the Titan Threadripper or anything like that.
I love names like that. Threadripper.
But I want to say he probably dropped $800, $900 on this PC. And I mean, and that was with a 1 terabyte solid state drive.
Well, that's we talked about it in a previous episode too. Hey guys, go listen to our old episodes. We talk a lot about a lot of stuff. But the One X is a ridiculous price at $350 for what you're getting. You can't. It's very hard to get a PC for $350 that can barely run.
Well, it was kind of like when the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X first came out. They were each like $500, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely. And you were saying that there's some sort of trade-in system. I couldn't find it.
Yeah, there was a rumor about when Xbox was still called Scarlet that there was a payment plan that you could get on to where your payment
probably with Game Pass and Game Pass.
Yes, it was built into your Game Pass and your Xbox Live, and that would pay for your new console.
And so that's another thing, with Game Pass involved. these subscription services are going to help pay for the system, similar to what you see with cell phones, because it's part of a service plan, right? And so cell phones usually are cheaper than buying them outright because you're essentially paying for a service. I think they're really just they're smart with how they're doing this. I think it's gonna because they have one. There's a rumor going around now, and I don't know if you heard this that the Xbox Series S, sorry, is not using the xCloud servers for just mobile gaming. It's a way to play the game so you don't have to wait for it to download. You play the game right then, streaming. Then, when you're done with the game overnight or later on, it downloads the game and you play directly from the system. So, it's a way to get rid of the load times that are associated with downloading a game that might be upwards of 60 gigabytes for some of these massive, insane games.
I don't know how Xbox One does it right now, but I know there have been games that I bought in the past on PlayStation, and once it starts downloading and it gets, I mean, these are like the giant games, and once it gets about 10 gigabytes in, it'll let you play.
Yeah, because it's basically like its own environment. It's playable. It has all the assets for the first couple levels or whatever. That does happen on the Xbox One X right now in S.
Now, I forget what game it was, but I actually did get to the end of that portion and had to download the rest of the game before I could play.
Oh, snap.
I was not happy.
So, that is one thing that I have heard. So that's another rumor that has been going around is that's, we've seen what's happening with Stadia. 4K on the go is only going to work under perfect conditions.
Mm-hmm.
1080p might work, but you're still going to have lag. It's just hasn't been working out that good. The xCloud has been received a lot better, especially by that dog that's barking out there, I guess. He was super excited about me talking about the xCloud just now because he can get a Google phone and play it at 720p on a small screen, and it runs pretty well, but the difference is it's free right now in the beta. So, whenever they get everything up and running the way it should be, for a paid version of it, xCloud's included with Game Pass is what's being rumored. I'm pretty sure it's been stated. So all this stuff is coming for your $15 a month. It's going to have games on PC. It's going to have games on the X.
Would you say it's been stadied?
No, Rowdy. If it was stadied, it would have burnt up by now because it has no heat dissipation. All right. So the last thing is the Xbox Series X in VR has been rumored.
Oh yeah.
Have you heard
Travis,
that?
VR.
VR, Rowdy. VR. So, what do you think that's going to be a real thing? Like, how do they get this to work? Are they going to use a secondary company? Like, could you just plug up your Oculus and go?
I don't know. They might do in-house because PlayStation's got an in-house system. Like PSVR is made by Sony.
See, I kind of think they're going to start using some of these secondary companies if they can get enough units out there. And I think that's a good way to get into VR is to get these other ones that are already making it, get them on board to where they could just hook up to a console because if you've already got an Oculus, just go from there, I think that'd be my personal way to go. And it's a Windows system, really.
Facebook owns Oculus?
Yes, I do. And they were stupid for buying it. They spent way too much money on it because they thought everybody was going to sit and be on Facebook in the VRs. And
yeah, dude.
Grandma's going to sit around and, read Facebook.
Every time I sign into my Oculus, something new is sign in via Facebook? Nope, sign in via my Oculus account.
No, dude, I'm out.
Sign in via my Oculus account.
You can look up recipes in VR. Yeah. All right. Well, I don't really have much more than that. Hey, before I forget, I got to throw out a shout out to somebody I forgot in the list of many thanks to Shoulder from GW.
How dare you?
I know. There was a huge list. I felt so bad because I mentioned everybody. And he's like, well, what am I, chopped liver? And man, that dude I've chatted with forever. He's a fun dude. He's a black belt of just scariness. That dude is frightening. But his name has changed. It's been Shoulder, Good Shoulder, God of Shoulder. It's always got a shoulder involved.
Okay.
But yeah, very fun person. We've played many games together. So wanted to throw a shout out to Mr. Shoulder. And I think that's about it. We are also going to be recording the the gamest and lamest games of 2019 before the end of the year. I don't know if it's going to be recorded tonight or later, but we're going to discuss our top 5 games, and then our top 3 or 5 disappointing games that are the lamest. Like, not really.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, it's not necessarily going to be the worst games.
Biggest disappointments?
Just disappointments. It's lame, man.
I bet Sekiro ends up on this list.
I bet Sekiro does, and I bet Super Mario Maker 2 does too.
But is it going to be in the good or the bad section? You'll have to listen to see.
Have to find out. All right, guys. Make sure you check us out wherever. Make sure you share with other people, because Google search has absolutely dropped us. We used to have hundreds of online plays just from Google search engine.
It's because we started talking crap on them.
No, it really isn't. They did a algorithm change. You know, Google is always secretive about their algorithm changes.
Yeah, they did an algorithm change, and anybody who made fun of Stadia got dropped.
Yeah, I guess that's what happened, because in September, they were just like, nah, dude, you're out. So we are getting more listeners. Thank y'all for listening on Spotify, for Apple podcasts. All of our other places are going up in numbers. So please share with other people. Drop reviews, because it puts us back in the rankings on other things. We were second place on Player.fm's adult gaming podcast. Whenever I say adult gaming, I don't mean like adult gaming.
That sounds weird.
It just means we're older gamers is what it is. So, yeah. Things are looking up. Next year, we have a lot more stuff planned. We're going to be doing Lamer Gamers 2.0. I'm working on some community stuff. Also, we are going to be working on weekly content, whether that means YouTube video or playing games online or podcast. I'd like a weekly podcast. I'm doing newscasts.
Even if it's going to be like 10 minutes at a time, we're going to try and put something out.
Yeah, something's going to be out each week. So make sure that you check with us. And if something is released on the YouTubes or something, and it's not here or wherever we're putting it, we'll make sure to leave just a little teaser podcast to tell you where to check it out. All right, guys, that is it for me. Rowdy, you got anything else?
Nah, man, you guys have a good one.
All right, guys, we are out.